groups on startups and innovation and on traditional medicines last year. I'm happy to note that the regulations to operationalize these working groups have been approved by member states. Excellencies, SCO is in its third decade of existence, and this is an opportune time for its reform and modernization to keep the organization relevant in a rapidly transforming world. I'm pleased to note that the discussions on the issues of reform and modernization of the organization have already commenced. I assure you that India will extend its constructive and active support for this process. I also seek the support of member states for the long-standing demand of India to make English as the third official language of the organization. This will enable a deeper engagement with English-speaking member states of the SCO and will take the work of this organization to a wider global audience. I'm happy to note that the progress on ongoing process for the admission of Iran and Belarus as full members of the SCO. I thank the Secretariat for their efforts in that direction. Similarly, I'm delighted that 4 new dialogue partners will sign the MOU for their association with SCO today in Goa. We welcome our new dialogue partners and hope to intensify engagement with them in the SCO format. Excellencies, India has proposed a New Delhi declaration as an SCO summit declaration and 4 other thematic joint statements on cooperation in de-radicalization strategies, promotion of millets, sustainable lifestyles to address climate change, and digital transformation. I seek your support in timely finalization of these documents for approval by our leaders at the SCO summit. I'm confident that today's meeting would lead to fruitful discussions which would help in sustaining the momentum of our cooperation. I once again wholeheartedly thank you all for your support for the first ever SCO presidency of India, and I sincerely hope that we can get together to make the SCO Heads of State Summit meeting a great success. Thank you. With that, may I now request our friends from the media to please leave the meeting hall so that the proceedings can thereafter continue.
Those were the opening remarks that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar just made. He has spoken tough on terror. He's minced no words. He said that there is no justification for terror and there is no place for terrorism. So making it absolutely clear, while Pakistan, of course, sits in the very same room. Listen in again to what the External Affairs Minister said.
While the world was engaged in facing COVID and its consequences, the menace of terrorism continues unabated. Taking our eyes off this menace would be detrimental to our security interests. We firmly believe that there can be no justification for terrorism and it must be stopped in all its forms and manifestations, including cross-border terrorism. The channel of finances for terrorist activities must be seized and blocked without distinction. Members need not be reminded that combating terrorism is one of the original mandates of the SCO.
Geeta Mohan, our Foreign Affairs editor, is joining us live from Goa. Geeta, you heard what the External Affairs Minister said over there, not mincing words at all on the subject of terrorism, seizing of terror funds as well that he spoke about, and of course reminding the members that that was one of the original agendas of the SCO. This while Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari was in the same room, Geeta.
Well, that's right. The fact that he's named he's not named Pakistan but spoke about cross-border terrorism clearly shows the agenda for India is clear. That SEO has a huge format, a very important format, and that is the SEO RATS, which is the regional architecture for to fight terrorism. And that structure certainly is very important. And under that structure, terrorism is discussed. Cross-border terrorism is an area that India has been raising over and over again. But because bilateral issues cannot be raised, there was no naming of any country, but India raised the issue and concerns regarding terrorism. So much so, Polemy, that the External Affairs Minister went on and said that while the world was fighting COVID, terrorism continued, the menace of terrorism continued unabated, and which included cross-border terrorism. And the moment he says cross-border terrorism, it means Pakistan. Without naming Pakistan, the Indian administration just slammed Bilawal Bhutto Zardari and his country in Goa on Indian soil at the SCO forum.
Geeta, stay on with us. Let's listen in to what the External Affairs Minister just said. A very, very strong message that he sent out on terrorism without naming Pakistan, but for anyone present in that room, it was very clear who it was directed at. Listen in.
While the world was engaged in facing COVID and its consequences, the menace of terrorism continues unabated. Taking our eyes off this menace would be detrimental to our security interests. We firmly believe that there can be no justification for terrorism, and it must be stopped in all its forms and manifestations, including cross-border terrorism. The channel of finances for terrorist activities must be seized and blocked without distinction. Members need not be reminded that combating terrorism is one of the original mandates of the SCO.
This, of course, what the External Affairs Minister just said, that the members of the SCO should not forget that combating terrorism was one of the original mandates of the SCO. Geeta Mohan, our Foreign Affairs editor, is still live with us. Geeta, again, to put things into perspective, how do you see this statement that the External Affairs Minister has just made? Just a short while ago, there was that photo op. We saw that very cold shoulder that, in fact, we saw the External Affairs Minister give Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. Sushant Sareen is joining us over the phone line. Geeta, just hold on. Mr. Sareen, the message is very clear. First, the body language, the physical distance, the cold shoulder, the half namaste smile that was in fact given by the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar as he received Bilawal Bhutto Zardari at the SCO meet venue. And then, of course, that very strong message in his opening remarks saying, let me remind the members of the SCO that one of the original mandates of this forum was to combat terrorism. Unfortunately, when the world was battling COVID-19, the menace of terrorism continued.
Yeah, that's so. I think what Dr. Jaishankar said in his speech is exactly what should have been highlighted, because the primary purpose of SCO came into existence after the 9/11 attack. The primary focus was security, and then of course SCO has expanded into a whole lot of other fields. But I think what India is trying to do is bring the focus back on the original platform on which SCO was formed, which was to combat terrorism, which was to enhance security in the region. And if Dr. Jaishankar is pointing all these things out, then I think he's sticking to the charter of the SCO, and he is exhorting all the SCO member states to refocus on the primary purpose for this organization. Everything else will follow, but you cannot dilute the issue of security, of terrorism, and of course the new challenges which are emerging in this particular field. Of course, it is also a clear signal to at least two of the member states when you're talking about security, whether
Right.
it's terrorism, it's Pakistan, whether it's conventional security issues, border issues and stuff like that, it's China. So
Right.
I think in his own very nuanced way, Dr. Jaishankar has delivered the message that should have been delivered. And of course, the welcome, which was pretty frosty, at
Right.
least to Bilawal Bhutto. Although I think again, Dr. Jaishankar was very correct. He wasn't shaking hands with any of the dignitaries. It was a namaste for everybody.
But then
So I
it
think
was
that
much
must
more
have been
warmer, sir.
choreographed.
It was much more warmer. There was some chat. There was
Yes,
a little banter
exactly.
that went on with the other foreign ministers of the member states, but not with Bilawal Bhutto Zardari.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that, look, it wasn't that he singled out Bilawal Bhutto by not shaking his hand. It was
Right.
the same thing with everybody. But from the body language, you could see, the distance, the frostiness, the very perfunctory welcome which was given. There was none of the warmth, but he was absolutely correct, in his dealing. So I think, given the kind of experience that Dr. Jaishankar has in diplomacy, I think he displayed his experience to the hilt with the way he welcomed all the people, and it was very clear where there is frostiness, where there is coldness, and where there is an element of warmth. So if you look at how he dealt with the Chinese foreign minister, you could again see a kind of a slight amount of distance, a lack of warmth. But when it was the Russian, it was a completely different ball game. So I think those messages are pretty clear for anybody who wants to see them. But again, nobody can really point anything out as being amiss, simply because it was the same treatment in some ways, technically, to everybody. So I think he played his cards extremely well.
Okay. Mr. Sareen, thank you so much for speaking to India Today. Gaurav Sawant is also joining us with the phone line right now. So that is what Sushant Sareen says, that Dr. Jaishankar played his cards very well. The message is loud and clear, and it's probably ringing in that venue meeting, where the meeting is in fact taking place right now, Gaurav, because the message has been delivered.
The message is not just in India's interest, but it's in regional interest. Pakistan's cross-border terrorism poses a challenge to this entire region. India, of course, is the biggest victim of Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror, but Afghanistan has complained of Pakistan terror. In fact, that entire region poses a threat even to China, which is very worried about East Turkestan Islamic movement. Again, those are terrorists who operate in the AFPAC border region. And this is something that was raised on a multilateral forum, and very rightly so. But if you notice, follow me, this is India's very sustained message. Last week, Rajnath Singh at the SCO defense ministers meeting, and that is where Pakistan's defense minister stayed away, and the Prime Minister's representative, Pakistan Prime Minister's representative on defense was there. Again, that message of cross-border terrorism was delivered. So India's consistently on every platform ever since the Narendra Modi government came to power in 2014, and especially after the Pulwama terror attack of 2019, has been giving this message of Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror on every forum, whether it's the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, whether it's BRICS, whether it's the United Nations. On every forum, India is exposing cross-border terrorism because it poses a massive challenge and threat, one, to us as a country and to this region as a whole. In fact, Pakistan is stopping connectivity. That's another very major aspect that India has been raising. Now, India's ties with let's say, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, all these countries are the land route has been stopped by Pakistan. Now that Iran and Belarus could be a part and would be part of this gathering subsequently, again, India is using the sea route to Chabahar and then taking that access because Pakistan does not permit the land route. So this is where India is raising Pakistan's cussedness, even at SCO at every stage. Will it does it shame Pakistan? Clearly not, because Pakistan uses terror as an instrument of their state policy. Follow me.
Absolutely. Gaurav, stay on with us. Let's one more time listen in to what the External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar said while making his opening remarks at the SCO meet.
While the world was engaged in facing COVID and its consequences, the menace of terrorism continues unabated. Taking our eyes off this menace would be detrimental to our security interests. We firmly believe that there can be no justification for terrorism, and it must be stopped in all its forms and manifestations, including cross-border terrorism. The channel of finances for terrorist activities must be seized and blocked without distinction. Members need not be reminded that combating terrorism is one of the original mandates of the SCO.
Right, we're slipping into a very short break now. Coming up next, Congress Neta Rahman stokes Bajrang Rao, says Bajrang chants will create fear. DK Shivkumar seeks Bajrang blessing, says will prioritize construction on new Hanuman temples.
If it's fashion, you can expect the Kardashian-Jenner sisters dropping some major style bombs on the red carpet. And Met Gala 2023 was all that and more. Kim Kardashian fit rightly into her Schiaparelli all-pearl outfit with a huge cape. When we say pearl, she was dripping in it. Kim Kardashian paired her look with a choker neckpiece, dainty rings, and a matching pair of heels. If you jog your memory, Kim Kardashian's Marilyn Monroe cosplay at Met Gala 2022 was the talk of fashion circles last year. The television personality was trolled for ruining an iconic outfit which the late American sensation had worn for President Kennedy's birthday. Netizens went all berserk and commented how Kim's body type was not fit for that outfit even though she had lost certain kilos for that 10 minutes walk on the red carpet. However, this time the outfit was meant for her. Prior to her appearance at the fashion's biggest night, Kardashian had even dropped in at Karl Lagerfeld's office to get inspired for her outfit. She even posed along with Karl's cat. And for the unversed, the designer who brought revolution with his vision in the world of fashion, and Met Gala 2023 paid tribute to his legacy.
Van Gogh was a post-impressionist painter who is widely regarded as one of the greatest artists of all time. His unique style and use of bold colors have left an indelible mark in the art world. The 360-degree exhibit that made its mark in Mumbai just launched in New Delhi. As immersive art gains ground in India, This 360-degree exhibit is all of that and so much more. The exhibit is an exciting expedition into the world of Van Gogh, presenting the artist with an amalgamation of art x technology x artificial intelligence.
The hypnotic adventure is a clash between art and technology, wherein the ultra-modern projection worked out by the audiovisual designer is an ode to art. It is a mesmerizing artistic affair.
Van Gogh's art was deeply influenced by his own personal experiences, such as his struggles with mental illness and his love of nature. He, in fact, has created over 2,000 artworks, including some of the most recognizable paintings in the world, like the Starry Nights and Sunflowers. The 360-degree panorama on a larger-than-life screen, a complementing musical bed, and a mixture of different fields of art is currently on display in the national capital. Van Gogh's art continues to inspire artists and art lovers alike, even over a century after his death. This exhibition aims to showcase the incredible legacy of a true master using artificial intelligence in a multimedia format. With Riya Modi, Lifestyle Bureau, India Today.
You are watching India Today.
Good morning and a warm welcome to India Today. I'm Paulami Saha and these are the headlines we're tracking at the top of the sun. Jaishankar talks tough on terror at SCO meet in the presence of Bhutto, says nothing can justify cross-border terror. No handshakes with Pakistan Foreign Minister as he arrives in SCO. Suspense over Sharad Pawar's next move. NCP panel meet to discuss Pawar's resignation. Proposal to reject Pawar's resignation at the meet. Manipur governor appeals for peace after issuing shoot-at-sight orders. Communities riot over reservation demands. US President Biden congratulates Ajay Banga on becoming World Bank president, says we'll address global challenges together.
Co-presented by Star Health Insurance, the health insurance specialist. Powered by Jaguar, discover the magic of smart lights.
News coming in right now after a series of protests by the BJP in the form of Hanuman Chalisa recitals across the state. Now the Congress workers are countering by performing puja at Hanuman temple in Bengaluru. So the war over Bajrang Dal and the Congress's promise to ban the right-wing outfit if it were to come to power in Karnataka has escalated. BJP earlier was protesting while performing and reciting the Hanuman Chalisa. Now Congress is praying and is performing pujas at Hanuman temples. Sagai Raj is joining us this moment. Sagai, tell us how the Congress is hoping to counter the BJP's campaign that a promised ban on the Bajrang Dal is an insult to Bajrang Bali.
So if you notice, yesterday KPCC President D.K. Shivakumar had visited an Hanuman temple and he had offered prayers there. And thereafter he spoke to the media and went on to say that he will construct a Hanuman temple across the state if they voted back to power in the state of Karnataka. Following that, today a few Congress workers had visited Hanuman temple in Vasant Nagar and offered prayers, and they prayed to the God that the communal forces should not stop the win of Congress, and also give some kind of sense to the people, especially the BJP as well as a right-wing organization, not to protest against this particular issue. And they have also reiterated that Bajrang Dal is different and Hanuman is different, and this is probably a counter from the Congress, but it is not that effective as much as BJP, which has done across the state when they did budget of Hanuman Chalisa in the state of Karnataka.
Sagai, thank you so much for joining us with all of those details. Now, it's the final leg of the high-velocity Karnataka campaign, but the showdown over the Congress proposed ban on Bajrang Dal continues to escalate. Bajrang Dal workers held protests and chanted the Hanuman Chalisa across the poll-bound state from Bengaluru to Mysuru to Hubballi in retort against the Congress's manifesto proposal. Congress appears to have doubled down on its poll promise, with Karnataka State Chief D.K. Shivakumar seen offering prayers at a Hanuman temple on Thursday and even vowing to build more Hanuman temples in the state. Not just him, even Veerappa Moily has now claimed that the Congress never said it would ban the Bajrang Dal, and that further clarification on the Congress's poll promise will soon be doled out.
सीधी बात है भाई, अगर इस देश के अंदर कोई ये कह दे कि हम बजरंग दल के ऊपर बैन लगाएंगे तो कौन सहन करेगा? ऐसा कौन सा देश विरोधी कार्य बजरंग दल ने किया है बताइए? एक कार्य बताइए जो देश के हित में बात करते, देश के लिए लड़ते, उनको बैन करेंगे तो देशभक्तों को बैन करेंगे, इसका मतलब आप देशद्रोहियों का साथ देंगे.
Just for votes, look at what they are doing here. Just for votes, they are stooping so low that they are comparing Bajrang Dal with hoodlums of Bajrang Dal with Bajrang Bali. It's a habit of insulting the devotees of Lord Hanuman.
हिंदुस्तान की जनता कांग्रेस का हिंदू विरोधी चेहरा जान चुकी है, और ये तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति जो कांग्रेस करती है इसका मुंह तोड़ जवाब भी मिलेगा. दूसरा, बजरंग बली का अपमान नहीं सहेगा हिंदुस्तान, और मोदी जी को मौत का सौदागर कहना, बिच्छू कहना, जहरीला सांप कहना, नाली का कीड़ा कहना और मोदी तेरी कब्र खोदेगी, इस तरह की भाषा का प्रयोग देश के प्रधानमंत्री के खिलाफ जनता ने पहले भी मुंह तोड़ जवाब दिया, और वोट की चोट कर्नाटक की जनता भी देगी और कांग्रेस को फिर बाहर ही रखेगी और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की फिर.
अब आप देखो ये कौन सा सेकुलरिज्म है कि कल देश के वजीर आजम प्रधानमंत्री मोदी कह रहे हैं कि जब आप वोट डालेंगे तो बजरंग बली का नारा मार के वोट डालना. आप बोलो ये कौन सा सेकुलरिज्म है? बोलो आप. अगर मैं आज खड़े होकर तकरीर में बोला पूरे कर्नाटका के गरीबों और मजलूमों, तुम 10 तारीख को वोट डालने जाएंगे तो पहले अल्लाह अकबर का नारा लगा के बटन दबाओ, तो भी पूरे मीडिया वाले बोलेंगे ओ ओवैसी उधर लेके चले गया. तुम्हारे पप्पा बोले तो कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे.
Suspense over Pawar's next move. NCP protests outside party headquarters right now ahead of key NCP meet in Mumbai. NCP cadre hit the streets of Mumbai as you can see in those images that we're getting to you from outside the Nationalist Congress Party's headquarters in Mumbai, where the committee, which was announced by Sharad Pawar on the day that he announced that he'll be stepping down as president of the NCP, that committee is meeting at 11 a.m. this morning. Shortly, that meeting is expected to begin. Praful Patel, earlier speaking to India Today, said that the proposal to, in fact, have Sharad Pawar carry on and continue on as the president of the party will be, in fact, kept at that meeting. Supriya Sule there, who's one of the members of that committee, you can see in those images arriving at the venue of that meeting. But the cadre there outside the NCP headquarters trying to build pressure that they will accept nobody else but Sharad Pawar as the president of the party. Ritvik Bhalekar is joining us at the moment from Mumbai. Ritvik, we're seeing those pictures of several NCP cadres and party workers who've gathered outside the Mumbai headquarters of the party in order to build pressure on the committee that they should name no one else but Sharad Pawar as the president of the party.
Oh, rightly said, as we can see in these visuals, how all the NCP protesters from across the Maharashtra have gathered outside the NCP office, and they are continuously sloganeering and demanding that Sharad Pawar should take back his resignation and he should continue as party president. Today is a meeting of NCP committee which is appointed to decide the future course of the party, and at this point of time we can see how these party workers are trying to pressurize this committee, as we from the sources have gathered that even the committee has consensuously decided that they will be passing a single line resolution that only Sharad Pawar will continue as a party president and he will have to take his resignation back. We have with us some of the party workers who are here with us protesting. We'd like to speak to them. क्या मांग है आपकी, और शरद पवार अगर नहीं मानते तो आगे कोई और चेहरा जो है वो स्वीकार किया जाएगा या नहीं?
नहीं स्वीकार किया नहीं जाएगा। हम लोग पवार साहब को 3 दिन से हम लोग इधर भूख आंदोलन पे बैठने वाले थे, लेकिन पवार साहब ने हमको ग्वाही दी है कि हम तुम्हारे मन में जो है वो रिजल्ट देंगे, तब तक हम हटेंगे नहीं पीछे।
लेकिन अब पार्टी के नेता भी कह रहे हैं कि शरद पवार को जो है रेजिग्नेशन पीछे लेने के लिए कहा जाएगा, लेकिन शरद पवार अगर नहीं मानेंगे और वो अड़े रहेंगे अपने निर्णय पर तो आगे पार्टी क्या करेगी?
हम भी जो अभी चल रहा है वो आगे चलते रहेगा। हम पवार साहब का राजीनामा हम आगे लेके ही रहेंगे।
क्या सुप्रिया सुले या अजीत पवार या प्रफुल्ल पटेल, जयंत पाटिल, इन नामों के बारे में आप विचार नहीं कर सकते?
नहीं, फिलहाल हमारे पास सामने एक बड़ा नेता हमारा लीडर है पवार साहब, तो हम दूसरे नामों का क्यों विचार करें?
महिलाएं भी है, there are some female party workers who I'd like to speak to. मुझे बताइए, सुप्रिया सुले अगर सामने आती है नेतृत्व के तौर पर, तो क्या आप एक महिला कार्यकर्ता हैं, आप नहीं चाहते कि महिला प्रेसिडेंट बने?
डेफिनेटली महिला प्रेसिडेंट बननी चाहिए, लेकिन हर एक साहब का और हमारा रिश्ता, मराठी में कहावत है आजोबा नातीचं नातं, मराठी में कहावत है कि आजोबाचं नाती का रिश्ता, तो साहब का और हमारा रिश्ता राजनीति में ऐसा है। हम साहब की उंगली पकड़ के राजनीति सीखना चाहिए। हमें प्राउड होगा कि सुप्रिया अध्यक्ष बने, लेकिन हमें ये सबसे ज्यादा अच्छा लगेगा कि साहब अध्यक्ष फिर से बने।
So all we can hear is they want Mr. Pawar to be continued as the party president, and we can see the high voltage drama and emotions pouring here right in front of NCP office in Mumbai.
Okay, so we're also getting Ritvik, stay on with us. We're getting those inside images of the committee meeting, which is to shortly begin. As you can see, the top leadership of the NCP is gathered over there on your screens. Jitendra Awad, Eknath Rao Khadse, Sunil Tatkare, Praful Patel, Chhagan Bhujbal, PC Chako, Jayant Patil, and of course Ajit Pawar, Supriya Sule were present in that meeting, as well as other office bearers like Sonia Dohan and Fawzia Khan, who are present for this very crucial meeting. Dilip Walse Patil as well, Vandana Chavan. These are some of the members of the committee who will in fact pass a one-line resolution, as Ritwik has been breaking exclusively on India Today, a one-line resolution to have Sharad Pawar continue on as the chief of the party. Ritwik, coming back to you. Yesterday, of course, Sharad Pawar briefly spoke with some of the cadres and party workers who had gathered outside the venue, YB Chavan Centre, and to them he assured that he will take a final decision in a day or two. But also very interestingly, which of course led to some loud cheers over there, very interestingly said towards the end, and the last line that he said was, in 2 days' time, you won't have the need or find the need to sit outside over here in protest. What does that mean? Is he actually rethinking his decision, or was that to placate the workers so that they would get up and leave?
See, the pressure has been mounting since last 48 hours. What Sharad Pawar, Supriya Sule, Ajit Pawar, Praful Patel, all the senior leaders were thinking that they will be able to convince all the supporters, and they will eventually and gradually try and let them know that how the decision taken by Mr. Pawar is for the good of the party, and there will also be a new face who will be getting a chance to lead the party, who can understand and learn the nuances of the party president, of the party chief, and the person who will be the next party chief will also get some chance in working right under the leadership and with the guidance of Mr. Pawar. But what we can see right now, and the sense we are getting, is that the decision is not just well taken by the supporters, and they are just not ready to accept the fact that Mr. Pawar will not be the party president anymore. So here we can see since last more than 48 hours now, only one slogan which we can hear from here is ki Rajinama Magega, which means that Pawar should take back his resignation. And if today, what the sources are telling us, that meeting is about to end within few minutes now, because there was just a single line resolution which will be passed of rejecting the proposal of Sharad Pawar's resignation, and unanimously it will be submitted to Mr. Pawar today, who is at Silver Oak at his residence, while the party meeting is going on, the committee meeting is going on in the party office. In a while, at 11:30 p.m. is what being told, Ajit Pawar and Praful Patel will be addressing a press conference, and they will be announcing the decision taken by the committee.
Okay, so Ritwik Bhadekar there, of course, bringing us that breaking piece of update from the NCP meeting. That NCP meeting, you can see those committee visuals on your screens right now. The committee members present in that room, they in fact have passed a single line resolution where they want Sharad Pawar to continue on as the party chief. Praful Patel and Ajit Pawar will be addressing a press conference at 11:30 a.m. So shortly, they will be announcing that decision. Meanwhile, of course, cadres and party workers have gathered outside the NCP office and are raising slogans asking Mr. Pawar to withdraw his resignation. Also, of course, allies have been reaching out to Mr. Pawar, Ritwik, Rahul Gandhi, Stalin, calling Mr. Pawar and asking him to rethink his decision, withdraw his resignation, Ritwik.
Yes, not just Rahul Gandhi, but even MK Stalin has tweeted in the morning that while we are approaching elections in Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha in Maharashtra, we want Mr. Pawar to continue as party chief, holding the reins of the party and also the opposition parties across the country. Because what we are watching is Mr. Pawar is taking an initiative to bring all the parties from the country together to give a really strong opposition face, and he's trying to consolidate all the support. As we all know that he enjoys the links and the contacts across the party line. All the leaders are in good terms with him, and in that sense, every party leader from across the country is trying to call and persuade him, trying to talk to him. What we've learned is even Sitaram Yechuri yesterday called him and he was asking Mr. Pawar to stay on as a party chief, and he needs to come to Delhi to attend the opposition party in the next week. Also, the Kerala chief minister yesterday called Mr. Pawar and tried and wanted to know that why he took such a sudden decision, what was the reason behind it, and he also tried to pacify him that we need you as an opposition face and you need to be the party president, is what Mr. P.C. Chako, the NCP Kerala chief, told India today. So you can see that not just the party workers in this state but across the country and all the party leaders of the opposition parties are also trying to convince and persuade Mr. Pawar.
Right, so of course while we stand by for that press conference, Ritvik, again if you can just show us more pictures of the party workers and NCP cadre who have gathered outside the meeting venue at the moment, of course demanding that Sharad Pawar withdraw his resignation. It's been over 2 days now. They've been constantly requesting Sharad Pawar to withdraw his resignation, rethink his decision, and clearly it seems that they are unlikely to accept any other decision. But Ritvik, while we stay with the pictures as well, and maybe you can try and again get in a word from some of the party workers over there, is there a possibility, from you've been speaking to your sources obviously over the last few days, what are they telling you? Is there a possibility, even a slight chance that Mr. Pawar could rethink his decision?
Yes, absolutely. We'll try and talk to these party workers who have become very aggressive. Can you tell us that you've been protesting and you've been sloganeering since last 48 hours? What do you think will happen in the meeting today?
See, the last 63 years, Honorable Sharad Pawar Sahib in the politics, in social life, there is no politics in the country without Sharad Pawar. The name itself says Pawar is a power. He is the power play. Power begins with Pawar, ends with Pawar. Party president, founder, also he is the frontline warrior. He always leads from the front. That's why we want our warrior, Sharad Pawar Sahib.
But what we are gathering is there is a thinking in the party that Supriya Sure should also be given a chance, should also be given a time to nurture the leadership qualities which her father has. So she needs to take on the reign of the party now.
See, last 18 to 20 years, Honorable Supriya Sule is working in a parliament as a member of parliament. Also, she won the best parliamentarian award too. But the thing is that he is a tiger. एक कहावत है, शेर बूढ़ा भी हो जाए तो घास नहीं खाता. हमारे टाइगर पवार साहब है और उनको रोर करना है 2024 के लिए. 2024 में मोदी और शाह को अगर वापस घर बिठाना है तो वहाँ पे सिर्फ ये शेर चाहिए, इसकी दहाड़ चाहिए. That's why we want the one and only tiger, Sharad Pawar.
So here we can see how party workers are trying to tell us that why Sharad Pawar is necessary for the party, and not just for the party but also for the opposition voice in the country.
Right, Ritvik, also again the second part of my question, I understand there's a lot of commotion around you. You've been speaking to your sources within the NCP. Is there any possibility, even the slightest chance, that Mr. Pawar could rethink his decision?
What we are gathering from yesterday is that Mr. Pawar, who himself came down and had a dialogue with all these protesters who were protesting at YB Chavan Center, where Pawar was sitting for whole day. He assured these party workers that I should have taken this decision by taking you all into the consideration, but now that I have taken this decision, I assure you that you don't have to sit and protest like this in future. I will abide by what the committee will decide and let committee take its decision. And as we know, that committee is already meeting, is going on at NCP office, and at the same time a single line resolution will be passed today by Praful Patel, and it will be unanimously accepted and submitted to Mr. Pawar. Now, what the important point remains is, will Mr. Pawar accept what the committee will decide, and will he take back his resignation?
Okay, Ritvik, just stay on with us. Of course, what you've been telling us and in fact bringing to us exclusively, that's exactly what's happened at that committee meeting. The committee of the NCP has in fact rejected Mr. Sharad Pawar's resignation. So the committee says no, Sharad Pawar's resignation has been rejected, that in fact Mr. Pawar will continue. That is what they want. It remains to be seen if Sharad Pawar, of course, accepts this decision of the NCP committee. But the committee has decided we don't want anybody else but Mr. Sharad Pawar to continue on as the president of the party. That press conference is expected at 11:30 a.m., which will be addressed by Ajit Pawar and Praful Patel. So clearly, pressure mounting on Sharad Pawar now, not just from the topmost leadership of the NCP, the senior leadership of the NCP, but also from cadres and party workers who've gathered outside the NCP headquarters in Mumbai, that Mr. Sharad Pawar should in fact withdraw his resignation. But of course, he is a man who will think for himself. He'll in fact apply his own mind and will take a final decision. He in fact has promised his party workers just yesterday that give me a day or two, I will take into account all your sentiments and then take a final decision. Of course, allies also want Sharad Pawar to continue on as NCP president because they do see him as a binding force, as an important glue factor as far as the opposition is concerned, especially ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Ritvik Bhaikar is still live with us. He is in fact joining us from outside the NCP office. Ritvik, so of course the committee, as you had mentioned earlier, has rejected Mr. Pawar's resignation. They want Mr. Pawar to continue on, but of course the ball is in Sharad Pawar's court. Okay, we'll try and reconnect with my colleague Ritvik Bhaikar. He, of course, is standing by for that press conference that is to happen in moments from now, when Ajit Pawar and Praful Patel will in fact communicate that decision which the committee has taken, that they reject Sharad Pawar's resignation. Remember, in a very surprise announcement that Sharad Pawar made on the occasion of launching his autobiography, the second part of his autobiography on the 2nd of May, he said that he is stepping down as president of the NCP after serving as the president for 23 years since the formation of the party in 1999. Mr. Pawar, of course, said that this was a decision that he's taken on his own. He did not consult anyone. So even the senior leadership of the party was completely taken aback and in shock as that announcement came in full public view on stage. And of course, it led to a lot of emotional scenes and high drama at that meeting venue. And since then, party workers have just camped outside the NCP office in Mumbai, demanding that Sharad Pawar withdraw his resignation. They do not want to see anybody else in the position of president of the NCP. There are suggestions, of course, that Mr. Pawar continue on as president, probably appoint a working president if he feels that he wants to pass on the baton, he wants to nurture a young leadership for the party. But he should carry on in the position of the president because nobody else will be accepted in that position, is what the cadres, the party workers and the senior leadership has said. There are several resignations also that came in order to put pressure on Mr. Sharad Pawar. Ritvik Bhaikar is joining us at the moment. Ritvik, of course, is standing by for that press conference, which is to take place very shortly. But as you've been reporting, Ritvik, that decision has been taken by the committee. No, we do not accept Sharad Pawar's resignation. He has to continue on as president. Of course, the ball is in Mr. Pawar's court. Will he accept that decision, Ritvik?
outside the party, like as we are watching, all the opposition leaders from across the country are trying to call and convince Mr. Pawar that he should stay on and he should hold the reins on the path at least in 2024 Lok Sabha and Assembly elections. So now the committee, which was formed to decide the future course of the party, has already rejected the resignation given by Sharad Pawar, and now a resolution will be sent to Mr. Pawar. And what Mr. Pawar yesterday told the protesting party workers at YB Chavan Center was that whatever the decision will be taken by committee members, he will accept it. Now we need to see, and it is very important and very crucial to see if Mr. Pawar accepts this decision given by the committee, or he suggests any other alternative. If he proposes a name of Supriya Sule or maybe Ajit Pawar as a working president who can assist him as a party chief, because looking at the limitations of his age, and he also told while in the resignation that Mr. Pawar is no longer want to be associated with the daily routine of the party.
Ritvik, also, what has been the sense within the Maha Vikas Aghadi since Mr. Pawar announced his resignation? We do understand that reactions have been coming in from the allies, which include the Uddhav Thackeray faction of the Shiv Sena and the Congress. While on the face of it, they're saying that this is the NCP's internal decision, it won't impact the alliance as such. What are they telling you otherwise?
What is the Maharashtra State President of Congress, Nana Patole, said that they are watching closely what Mr. Pawar will decide. But at the same time, they are also saying that even if Pawar proposes some other name, or if he doesn't want to continue the party chief, it is not going to impact at a larger scale on Maha Vikas Aghadi in Maharashtra or other parties who are in alliance. So it is remain to be seen, because Uddhav Thackeray has yet not officially given any reaction. He has also said that I have not personally spoken to Mr. Pawar after his resignation, but we need to see, because that's an internal party issue which they need to resolve, and they have all the right to do so. So they are in a wait and watch role right now, and what we can gather now only Mr. Pawar can take a final call.
Interesting, you do point out, Ritvik, that Uddhav Thackeray has not spoken to Sharad Pawar yet, even though the Congress has reached out. Rahul Gandhi has spoken to Mr. Pawar. Is this because Mr. Pawar was very critical of Uddhav Thackeray's decision to step down as Chief Minister with little fight last year? Okay, Ritvik, just hold on, because we're getting some emotional scenes from outside the NCP party office. As you can see, the cadre has gathered over there, and there are cops now who are trying to control them as well, because they're getting extremely emotional. Some reports also suggest that maybe they're trying to harm themselves as well. So they're extremely emotional, this has been, because some of them even wrote letters in blood and brought them to Sharad Pawar yesterday. So to prevent any sort of escalation of the situation, any sort of untoward incident, right now, as you can see, the Mumbai police has been brought in to, of course, hold back the party workers, not to let them enter the party office as well, because the top leadership, the senior leadership of the party is present inside the office right now. The meeting of that committee is over, of course, and they've decided that they do not want to see anybody else but Mr. Pawar in the post of president of the NCP. They've rejected his resignation, which he announced very publicly on the 2nd of May. But you can see, very emotional, very aggressive, building as much pressure as they can on Sharad Pawar and the NCP, in fact, to ensure that Sharad Pawar carries on as president of the party. The cadre is unwilling to accept any other decision. They're very clear that only Sharad Pawar will be president of the NCP and nobody else. So those emotional scenes that we're seeing from outside the NCP office right now in Mumbai. This while Sharad Pawar himself is at his Silver Oak residence, not very far from where the NCP headquarters is. He is in fact at his residence at the moment, while the top leadership, the senior leadership of the party is inside the NCP office as they of course meet in order to decide the future course. And what they've decided is that in one line they've stated clearly that they reject Sharad Pawar's resignation. It remains to be seen now if Mr. Pawar will accept the decision of the committee and carry on as president of the NCP, withdraw his resignation. Ritvik, we're seeing some very emotional scenes over there. Cops, of course, are in fact trying to control the crowds over there. As you can see in those pictures, earlier, of course, you saw Sharad Pawar over the past couple of days. He did go to the NCP office. He did go to YB Chavan Center, sat there as well. Okay, you can see a very emotional NCP cadre there being taken away by some of the others who gathered over there. We believe that one of the cadres did try to harm himself, and immediately the others stopped him. They're crying, they're in tears, they're emotional. And you can see that the police has been brought in as well in order to ensure that no untoward incident takes place. This is something that Sharad Pawar in fact had warned his party workers against, saying that they shouldn't indulge in any sort of behavior which would not go down very well with the NCP leadership. But the cadre there, of course, extremely emotional, unwilling to accept Sharad Pawar's resignation, saying that if they do not have him continue on as the president of the party, they will en masse resign from the NCP, stop being Karyakartas of the NCP, some even threatening that they could harm themselves if Sharad Pawar were not to withdraw his resignation. But the committee, of course, which was formed by Mr. Pawar himself, has now decided that Sharad Pawar's resignation stands rejected. A resignation, they claim, nobody knew about. It was only Mr. Pawar who knew of this decision, who took this decision and simply announced it publicly at a forum where his autobiography was being released. Suddenly, in the midst of his speech, as he was describing his long career in politics and public life since 1960, somewhere midway through the speech, he suddenly dropped in a bombshell there for the NCP cadres, where he said, "I'm stepping down as president of the NCP." Remember, Sharad Pawar formed the NCP in 1999. That is when he broke away from the Congress party in opposition to Sonia Gandhi being president of the party. He, in fact, stepped away, and then he formed the party. He built the party for the last 23 years. My colleague Mustafa Sheikh is now joining me live from the NCP office. Mustafa, we are seeing some very emotional scenes. We even saw a cadre being taken away by his colleagues and other party workers, and even the police was present over there. What happened, Mustafa?
Yes, of course. I will show you live visuals from the NCP office here. The visuals which are showing you, this is where a person tried to commit suicide by pouring kerosene on himself, and he was then taken inside. You can see now police presence now, and the party workers who are present here. The resolution of the core committee of the NCP, which took place just a while ago, has rejected Sharad Pawar's resignation as NCP chief. Here you can see people, and then now the ruckers which have been seen. Now the workers are sitting in front of the NCP office demanding that Sharad Pawar should take back his resignation. The resolution has been rejected. What happens next is something we are closely watching. Who will be the next NCP president? Whether Sharad Pawar will accept the decision of the committee to reject his resignation or not. So somewhere there is a leadership crisis in NCP which is seen, but the party workers unanimously standing in favor of Sharad Pawar. This is what is seen clearly. On one hand, the meeting is going on of the core committee. On the other hand, huge slogans are being raised, and one party worker tried to commit suicide, but in time he was taken away and saved. So the emotions are running high of the NCP workers since last 3 days. We'll have to wait and see what happens next and whether Sharad Pawar will accept this decision of the core committee rejecting his resignation. If not, then finally at some point there will have to be a process for electing a new NCP president, which will have to start. Who will be that? That's a bigger question. Ajit Pawar, all eyes are on Ajit Pawar at this point. What will be his next move? What is his planning? There have been rumors about he joining hands with BJP and many other things. So whether there will be a generational and leadership change in the NCP or a breakaway of faction is something, a question on the NCP's future, due to which these NCP workers are out on the road, are saying that they want to save NCP somehow and they want only one leader, that is Sharad Pawar, and only he can lead not only in Maharashtra but a united opposition across the nation. Back to you.
Right, so Mustafa, they're giving us those live pictures from inside the NCP office right now. As you can see, those NCP cadres have gathered over there outside the NCP office trying to build pressure on Mr. Pawar to withdraw his resignation. Ritwik Bhalekar is also joining us. He is in fact standing amidst those party workers at the moment who've become extremely emotional. One of them in fact tried to harm himself, which is when he was stopped immediately and was taken away. But of course, very, very emotional, Ritwik, the scenes outside the NCP office right now.
Yes, there's a very emotional outpour here. What we can see is, and just a while ago, a party worker tried to pour kerosene on him and tried to douse him, which was stopped at the right time by the police and other party workers. All they are demanding continuously is that they want now Mr. Pawar to reconsider and rethink about their resignation and continue as party president till coming election at least. He should give it a thought is what they are trying to tell. They cannot see any other party leader in his post, or rather they are also demanding that they might create some post called working president who will work under the leadership and the guidance of Mr. Pawar as a party chief. But they are just not willing to accept the fact that Mr. Pawar is retiring from the post of party president.
So they're not going to accept that decision. Sharad Pawar, of course, will have to finally decide what he wants to do, because the committee has rejected his resignation. They will be shortly announcing that formally as well. So maybe that cadre over there on the ground may feel some sense of relief that the committee has rejected the resignation of Mr. Sharad Pawar. But again, at the end of the day, the decision hinges on Sharad Pawar himself. Majid Memon, former member of the NCP, now with the TMC, is joining us over the phone line. The NCP, of course, this is an internal matter, Mr. Memon, you will say, as far as the NCP is concerned. But how important is it for the opposition that Mr. Pawar continue on as NCP president?
Well, you see, we are watching that the meeting of the senior leaders was going on just a little while ago in the party head office, while Sharad Pawar himself has kept him put at his residence, which is a little away. But then it appears that the decision taken by the committee is that Sharad Pawar should be made to withdraw his resignation and continue to hold the office of the chief of NCP. Now, outside NCP, it certainly is going to have an impact on MVA first, Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi, and Maharashtra politics. Certainly, Sharad Pawar is a giant, and once he takes such a major decision of relinquishing his position after serving NCP for almost quarter of a century, then definitely it would have impact on Maharashtra politics as well as on NDA. But in addition, it is also going to have a mild impact on the efforts of unification of all opposition parties for 2024 preparation. So if Sharad Pawar agrees to withdraw his resignation at this delicate juncture, I think it would be in the interest of non-BJP political parties all over the country.
Right. When, of course, Mr. Pawar announced his resignation, Mr. Memon, did it come as a shock to you, or had you, in your interactions in the past, learned that maybe he was looking to pass on the baton?
No, see, Sharad Pawar, if you recall, before he made this sensational disclosure which came as a shock, not only within the party but even outside party, you see, he had already indicated a week ago, if you look at his statements, he did say that as far as party structure is concerned, he is wanting to bring in young faces and asking the seniors, the elderly, to take the back seat. And I think this could have been one step first. Charity begins at home, as we call. So probably Sharad Pawar wanted to make an example of himself, of stepping down first and then asking other seniors also to probably follow the suit. But I don't know whether this precisely was because of that statement that he had made. But in the meantime, there were also quite a few developments. You know, Ajit Pawar showing his anxiety to become immediate chief minister, which seems very strange, because BJP can only form the government because they have more than 100 MLAs, and 145 is required for forming the government. India government is working now. So even that, and then Sharad Pawar's criticism of Uddhav Thackeray in his book, and then several developments which make, you see, things very confused. But in any case, I think the ball is in the court of Sharad Pawar, and now that the committee meeting has said that prevailed upon Sharad Pawar to withdraw his statement, let us see what is the final outcome in a matter of some hours or a day. It would be obvious.
Right. Mr. Memon, thank you so much for speaking to India Today. Also, thank you to my colleagues Mustafa and Ritwik. Stay tuned. We will, of course, be back with more news and updates.
You are watching India Today.
Just never know what to expect when it comes to the Met Gala. From Lil Nas X to Doja Cat to Giselle Bundchen to Ice Spice to co-chair Michelle Coel to David Byrne, whose outfit included a bicycle, the Met Gala is a wait-for-it fashion moment. This year, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York saw the gala honor the legacy of Lagerfeld, the late designer who helmed fashion houses like Chanel, Fendi, and his own eponymous line, and raised funds for the Met's Costume Institute. Karl Lagerfeld, a line of beauty, was the theme. This year's official Met Gala co-hosts were Penelope Cruz, Michelle Coel, Roger Federer, Dua Lipa, and Anna Wintour. Florence Pugh had a buzz cut and towering feathered headpiece on the Met, flanked by Valentino head Pierpaolo Piccioli. Jared Leto arrived to the red carpet dressed like the oversized mascot version of Lagerfeld's beloved cat, Chipette. Lagerfeld had a penchant for pearls and Kim Kardashian was drenched in them. Lizzo too. Just look at that. Lil Nas X showed up completely painted in silver with rhinestones and pearls covering his face. Doja Cat wore glittering cat ears and a flat snout. Her Oscar de la Renta gown was downright feline, a way to honor Lagerfeld. Jenna Ortega walked in like Wednesday Addams, true to the Gothic chic style. In New Delhi, Chaiti Narula for Lifestyle Bureau, India Today.
Air quality today. In Delhi, 164. In Mumbai, 53. In Kolkata, 82. In Bangalore, 59. In Chennai, 31. In Hyderabad, 51.
Sania Malhotra, an outsider whose love for dancing is known to all. Someone who dreamt of becoming an actor and has achieved it.
कट जब से ये खबर मिली है ससुरी जबान ही लड़खड़ा रही है।
वारदात कहाँ हुई है सर?
2 चमचमाते शानदार कटहल चोरी है गए।
सर ऐसे तो मुश्किल हो जाएगी, कल को लोग कुमड़ा लौकी तो रहेगी रिपोर्ट लिखवाने आ जाएंगे।
She carved a niche for herself even though she's only a few films old. The actress is gearing up for her upcoming Netflix comedy drama Kathal. Backed by Guneet Monga, the film is based on true-ish events.
You are watching India Today.
Cutting across live to Praful Patel addressing the media.
पुस्तकांच्या जीवन 2015 पासून आजपर्यंत पार्ट 2 च्या प्रकाशनच्या वेळी आदरणीय शरद पवार साहेबांनी
At the time of his autobiography inauguration, Sharad Pawar suddenly, during his speech,
एक अतिशय महत्त्वाची सूचना केली होती,
announced a very important decision
आज दिवसापासून
that he was stepping down
राष्ट्रवादी काँग्रेस
as president of the NCP
राजीनामा देत आहे.
on the day.
आणि त्याच दिवशी त्यांनी
On that same day,
पुढील कारवाईसाठी राष्ट्रवादी काँग्रेस पक्षाच्या
for further course of action,
अध्यक्षाची जबाबदारी कोणावर सोपावी
he announced a committee
त्यासाठी एक समितीच्या गठन सुद्धा त्यांनी सुचवला होता आणि
that will look into
माझा नाव
filling
त्यामध्ये
up
पहिला असल्यामुळे
the vacancy of the post of president.
असल्यामुळे
My name being the first on that committee list and me being vice president of the NCP,
मला ती जबाबदारी त्यांनी त्यांच्या भाषणात दिली होती.
he gave me that responsibility.
त्या दिवशी खरोखर त्यांच्या भाषणात जे काही त्यांनी उद्गार व्यक्त केले,
Whatever he expressed during his speech on that day,
स्तब्ध झालो.
we were stunned listening to it.
आम्हाला अजिबात कल्पना नव्हती
We had no idea
की आदरणीय पवार साहेब असा निर्णय त्या कार्यक्रमामध्ये जाहीर करतील.
that he would take such a decision.
आपण सगळे बऱ्याचपैकी तिथे होते.
Most of you were there.
आणि जे काही चव्हाण सेंटरच्या हॉलमध्ये दृश्य आपण पाहिले.
And the scenes that you witnessed at the YB Chavan Center,
सगळ्यांची भावना,
the sentiments that were being expressed,
सगळ्यांनी व्यक्त करण्याचा पण त्या दिवशी प्रयत्न केला.
everyone tried to express those sentiments before Mr. Pawar.
आणि चव्हाण सेंटरच्या कार्यक्रमानंतरही
Right after the program,
माझ्यासारखे अनेक पक्षाचे ज्येष्ठ मान्यवर
many of us senior leaders of the
यांनी
party
पवार साहेबांची भेट घेतली.
met with Mr. Sharad
एकदा नाही,
Pawar,
वारंवार घेतली.
met him multiple times in fact,
आणि आम्ही त्यांना सारखी विनंती त्या
And constantly
दिवसापासून करत राहिलो.
requested him since that day
साहेब,
that sir,
आज देशाला, राज्याला आणि पक्षाला
that the country,
तुमची फार मोठी
the
जरूरत
state
आहे.
and the party needs you now.
आणि या पक्षाचा नाव आणि आधारस्तंभ फक्त तुम्ही आणि
You are the
तुम्हीच आहात.
foundation of this party.
शरद पवार साहेब, आज आपल्या सगळ्यांना माहीत आहे की या देशामध्ये, राज्यातच नव्हे पण देशामध्ये एक फार सन्मानित नेता आहे.
He is an extremely respected
आणि
leader across the
त्यांचा
country.
अनुभव
His
आणि त्यांचा
experience,
व्याप या देशाच्या प्रत्येक तुम्हाला राज्यामध्ये तुम्हाला सुद्धा दिसत आहे.
and his influence
परवा आम्ही
can
पंजाबला
be
गेलो होतो.
seen
बादल
across
साहेबांच्या
states. We'd gone recently
अंत्येष्टीसाठी
to pay last respects to Prakash
त्यावेळी
Singh Badal
सुद्धा
in
पवार
Punjab.
साहेबांना ज्या पद्धतीनं पंजाबचे शेतकरी जे काही तिथे बादल
The way
साहेबांना श्रद्धांजलीसाठी आले होते, ते म्हणत होते
Punjab's
की
farmers
पंजाब कधी
met
तुमच्या शेतकऱ्यांच्यासाठी केलेल्या कामाला विसरू शकत नाही.
Mr. Pawar and told
असे
him
वेगवेगळ्या ठिकाणी
that the
तुम्ही
work that he's
देशाच्या
done for
कानाकोपऱ्यात
farmers,
गेले तर
that can't
असे
be forgotten.
उद्गार त्यांच्याबद्दल
Across states, you'll meet with such examples about Mr.
आणि
Pawar's
या
influence.
मागील 2-3 दिवसामध्ये अनेक मान्यवर, या देशाचे दिग्गज नेते सुद्धा
Many top leaders of the country over the last few days
सुप्रियाताई किंवा माझ्यापर्यंत
have reached
त्यांनी
out
आपली भावना व्यक्त करण्याचंही काम केलं.
to Mr. Pawar,
आणि
Supriya Sule, even me,
महाराष्ट्रामध्ये
and expressed their sentiments.
राष्ट्रवादी काँग्रेस पक्षाच्या सर्व कार्यकर्त्यांची भावना जिल्ह्यामध्ये, गावागावामध्ये आपल्याच माध्यमातून आम्हाला सगळ्यांना दिसायला मिळाली.
We're seeing over the media the sentiments of NCP cadres from across the state's districts.
मान्यवरांचाही या महाराष्ट्रामध्ये आणि देशामध्ये पवार साहेबांनी या सक्रिय पदावरून सोडू नये आणि जाऊ नये असा मत व्यक्त केलं.
Everyone has expressed the view that he shouldn't be stepping down.
आमच्या कार्यकर्त्यांची तीव्र भावना या मागील 2-3 दिवसामध्ये आपल्या सगळ्यांना बघायला मिळालेली आहे.
You've seen the sentiments of all our party workers.
आज जितके लोक बाहेर आहे हे तर ठीक आहे, पण अख्खा महाराष्ट्रामध्ये, देशामध्ये जिथे जिथे राष्ट्रवादी काँग्रेस पक्षाचा कार्यकर्ता आज आहे, तो खरोखर त्यांच्या मनामध्ये वेदना आहे, दुःख आहे,
There is sadness and
आणि
hurt,
नाराजी सुद्धा आहे.
and
आणि या भावनाच्या
they're upset.
आम्ही नजरअंदाज आम्ही करू शकत नाही.
We can't ignore
पवार
that.
साहेबांनी जे काही निर्णय त्यांनी घेतला, परत मी म्हणतो की त्यांनी आम्हाला कोणाला विश्वासात न घेतला. आणि
Whatever decision Mr. Sharad Pawar took, he did not take us into confidence.
आज जी जबाबदारी एक कमिटीवर त्यांनी दिली होती, त्याची बैठक आम्ही बोलवली.
We had a meeting of the committee
त्यांनी जाहीर केलं, पण
today
स्वाभाविक आहे,
after he gave us the
बाहेरचे
responsibility.
या कमिटीमध्ये आहे, जे या राज्यातले बाहेरचे पण आहे. त्याशिवाय सुद्धा आम्ही 2-3 दिवसापासून त्यांना सतत दररोज भेटत होतो आणि त्यांना विनंती करायचं काम सुद्धा करत होतो.
We've been requesting Mr. Pawar over the last few days constantly.
या बैठकीमध्ये
Today, the committee in its meeting
एक ठराव आम्ही पारित केला आहे
has passed a resolution
आणि सर्वानुमते आम्ही पारित केला आहे.
and it's a unanimous
तो
resolution.
ठराव मी आपला समक्ष वाचून दाखवतो आणि
I'll read out the resolution for you.
जे मी तुमच्या समक्ष वाचून दाखवणार आहे त्याच्या नंतर आम्ही ही भावना हे ठराव घेऊन
After this,
पवार साहेबांना भेटायचा प्रयत्न करू.
we will take this
आणि
resolution and try to meet Mr. Pawar.
प्रत्यक्षपणे सुद्धा आम्ही
And in person,
या आमच्या प्रस्तावाच्या बद्दल आणि सर्वानुमते जे आम्ही पारित केल्या प्रस्तावाच्या बद्दल आम्ही त्यांना भेटून विनंती करायचं काम
we'll request him.
तो प्रस्ताव
On the basis
असा
of this
केला आहे की राष्ट्रवादी
resolution,
काँग्रेस
the resolution
पक्षाचे
says,
राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष देशाचे नेते आदरणीय खासदार शरदचंद्रजी पवार साहेब यांनी राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष पदाचा राजीनामा देण्याचा मनोदय व्यक्त केला होता.
Mr. Pawar expressed his desire to step down as president of the party.
पवार साहेबांचा राजीनामा एकमतानं नामंजूर करण्यात येत
We
असून
unanimously reject the
त्यांची
resignation.
सर्वानुमते पक्षाध्यक्षपदी कायम राहावे
We
अशी विनंती करण्यात येत आहे.
decide
याचा अर्थ
unanimously that we will request him to carry on as president of the party.
सर्वांची भावना सामूहिक आणि सर्वानुमते हीच आहे की पवार साहेबांनी
This is our
या
unanimous
पदावर कायम
decision.
राहावं आणि जे राजीनामा देण्याची जी त्यांनी संकल्पना केली आणि जाहीर केलं त्यांनी आमच्या सर्वांच्या आणि या देशामध्ये कोट्यावधी लोकांच्या भावनेचा आदर करून
He should
सन्मान करून त्यांनी हा
express-
निर्णय त्यांच्या वापस घ्यावं.
He
अशी
should respect our sentiments
या आजच्या मीटिंगच्या द्वारे आम्ही त्यांना
And
विनंती करत आहोत.
withdraw
मित्रांनो,
his
आता
decision.
अधिक काही
That is
या
what
विषयावर आज बोलण्याचा अर्थ
we're
नाहीये.
requesting
जे
through this
आमचा
meeting.
निर्णय आहे ते आम्ही आदरणीय पवार साहेबांच्या पर्यंत जाऊन आम्ही
We will
त्यांना
take this decision
ही
now,
विनंती
this
करणार
resolution, to Mr. Pawar and request him.
असं आहे. आता आमची मीटिंग इथे आता पूर्ण झाली. मीटिंग झाल्यानंतर आता साहेब कुठे आहे त्यांची वेळ मागायचा आम्ही प्रयत्न करू शक्य असेल आणि जर चव्हाण सेंटरला असेल साहेब तर आम्ही तिथे जाऊ नसेल
We'll seek time from him now. We'll see where he is at the
त्या
moment.
पद्धतीनं कुठे आहे साहेबांची माहिती काढून मग आम्ही तिथे आम्ही जायचा प्रयत्न करू. अभी
We'll find out where he is
हमारे नेता
and then try to go
शरद
there.
पवार साहब ने पिछले 2 तारीख को एक उनके पुस्तक के विमोचन के कार्यक्रम में उनकी आत्मकथा के एक पुस्तक का विमोचन था. उस कार्यक्रम में अचानक स्टेज पर से ही अनाउंसमेंट किया कि मैं अब राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पक्ष की जिम्मेदारी अध्यक्ष पद की मैं यहाँ पर छोड़ रहा हूँ. और शरद पवार साहब ने एक कमेटी का गठन किया और जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि ये कमेटी ने आगे की कार्रवाई के लिए फैसला करना चाहिए. अब वो कुछ बहुत सारी घटनाएं हुई आप लोगों ने देखा है पिछले दिनों में. देश के अनेक मान्यवरों ने पवार साहब को सुप्रिया जी को मुझे फोन करके भी कहा अनेक पक्ष के नेताओं ने भी कहा कि आपने अपने इस फैसले को वापस लेना चाहिए. और उसी के साथ साथ हमारे राज्य में भी जो कई नेता है मान्यवर है विविध क्षेत्र के लोग हैं और खास करके राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी के सभी कार्यकर्ता हैं. इन्होंने पिछले 3 दिनों से बहुत अपनी भावना को तीव्र तरीके से व्यक्त करने का काम किया है और ये नज़ारा आपने और पूरे देश ने देखा है और आपके माध्यम से ही लोगों को देखने मिला है. मैं यही कहना चाहूँगा कि आज उस समिति ने यहाँ पर बैठक उन्हीं के बनाई हुई समिति के अनुसार यहाँ पर आयोजित की और हमने सबने यूनानिमसली सर्वानुमते ये सर्वसम्मति से एक यहाँ पर अपना प्रस्ताव पास किया है और वो प्रस्ताव मैं पढ़ के केवल इतना ही बताऊंगा कि राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पक्ष के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष देश के नेता माननीय शरद पवार साहब, इन्होंने राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष पद का इस्तीफा देने का अपना विचार व्यक्त किया था। आदरणीय शरद पवार साहब का राजीनामा हम एक मत से सर्वानुमत नामंजूर करते हैं और उनको सामूहिक तौर से ये हम विनती करते हैं कि उन्होंने अपने इस पद पर कायम रहना चाहिए और ये जिम्मेदारी उन्होंने निभाते रहना चाहिए। तो ये हमारा ये ठहराव है और ये प्रस्ताव को हमने पारित करके अब हम पवार साहब को भी विनती करेंगे कि ये पक्ष की भावना है, पक्ष के सभी जिम्मेदार लोगों को जिनको आपने ये काम कहा था कि अगले अध्यक्ष का आप चयन करिए, तो ये हमारा फैसला है कि हम अध्यक्ष का चयन नहीं कर पाएंगे, क्योंकि सभी की भावना ये है कि आप ही ने इस देश का राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पक्ष का राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष पद का कारभार संभालना चाहिए। आप देश के एक माने हुए कद्दावर नेता हैं, सब आपको चाहते हैं, सब आपको मानते हैं, आपका एक स्टेचर अलग है, आपका एक रिस्पेक्ट अलग है और आपने आज सक्रिय राजनीति में रहते हुए राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी की जिम्मेदारी संभालना चाहिए। हमने कोई मर्यादा तो नहीं रखी है ना, हम चाहते हैं और अभी पिछले ही साल पवार साहब को राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष पद के लिए हमने फिर से हमारी राष्ट्रीय मतलब बैठक में हमने दिल्ली में उनको चुना हुआ है, तो उनका कार्यकाल जब तक है तब तक तो उनको रहना ही है और उसके बाद वो तो पार्टी फैसला करती है। पवार साहब ने खुद जो व्यक्त किया अपना डिसीजन, उसको पार्टी मंजूर नहीं करती है और उनको गुजारिश करती है, विनती करती है कि आपने अपने पद पे कायम रहना है।
The decision which the committee, which was in fact announced by Sharad Pawar, has now taken that they reject the resignation which was in fact offered by Sharad Pawar. He in fact announced that he was stepping down as president of the party on the 2nd of May. The committee has rejected that decision and they want him to carry on as president of the party. They will be taking this resolution now to Mr. Sharad Pawar. Sahil Joshi, our Mumbai bureau chief, is joining us live at the moment. Sahil, of course, is going to give us a perspective on this, but before that, just to bring you some scenes from outside the NCP office, Ritwik Bhalekar is joining us. Ritwik, we believe that celebrations have broken out outside the NCP office after the committee has decided to reject Mr. Pawar's resignation.
Take back his and hope the decision which is still on stage.
Yes, absolutely. Here we can see the firecrackers are being burned and all the segment. Here you can see of the party workers who were protesting for last 48 hours are now celebrating. Our committee has announced its decision of rejecting the resignation of Mr. Pawar. Here are some party workers who would like to speak and have a sense of how they are feeling right now.
Feeling quite good. Feeling as if what the disturbance of Maharashtra is now somewhere stopped. And we all are very happy, very overwhelmed, quite excited. Everyone was awaiting.
Carter says that they're very overwhelmed and excited. Finally, a decision that they hope will, in fact, pressurize Mr. Pawar to withdraw his resignation. Sahil Joshi, of course, is joining us from Mumbai on this. Sahil, how likely is Mr. Sharad Pawar to abide by the committee's decision?
Well, Sharad Pawar, in full probability that he's going to abide by this decision, because, you know, the way he announced his decision, it was very clear that he did not consult his party workers, party leaders, and specifically the people were completely shocked. I mean, Paulmi, you have covered Parliament, you have covered NCP when you were in Bombay as well. You know how much close Prafull Patel is to Sharad Pawar. He's like Man Friday of Sharad Pawar. Most of the important decisions of the party, even in his career, were taken after discussing with Prafull Patel. But even Prafull Patel did not have any idea about Sharad Pawar's decision of offering the resignation, and he was also completely shocked. Now what has happened is that he wanted to understand whether he actually, the party cadre, the party leadership actually wants him to continue as the leader of the party, which, the taste of it, which he got on the same day when everybody gathered on the stage and started asking him to continue. What impacted more is the various calls which Praful Patel was mentioning a while back in the press conference, is the call by the various leaders, maybe Akhilesh Yadav, be it Piniyari Vijayan, be it Nitish Kumar, Rahul Gandhi, Farooq Abdullah. All these leaders started calling Supriya Sule or Praful Patel, or even some of them spoke to Sharad Pawar directly and requesting him to continue as the party chief at least till the time the Lok Sabha elections are happening, because for next 1 year at least, so that the unity of opposition unity can be stitched, because there is no other leader of the stature of Sharad Pawar in the opposition rank, and his experience can be utilized for that. That is what various leaders were telling Supriya Sule, and that actually have impacted him in a way. The other thing which can be clearly seen is that originally when this committee was formed, as Praful Patel was specifically mentioning, that in the written speech, Sharad Pawar had made it very clear that this committee has been appointed to elect his successor, to elect the next president of NCP, but that did not happen. So that's a big shift from the original position, and that is the reason why I believe that Sharad Pawar eventually will agree to their decision with some kind of a disclaimer that, okay, this is a temporary retreat, I will continue with my decision. He was elected as a national president just 8 months back when the NCP met in Delhi for in their national committee, that it was decided that Sharad Pawar will be the next leader, president for next 3 years. Now, what impacted Sharad Pawar also is that the national status of the NCP was snatched by the Election Commission just few days back, and that is also what played an important role in this particular decision. Also, there were rumors, there were stories about that how the NCP MLAs are trying to pressurize Sharad Pawar that he should have actually allied with the BJP, so that in Maharashtra at least there should have been there could have been a government with the BJP, the MLAs could have got the funds, and they could have been ministers and etc. etc. That also has kind of impacted Sharad Pawar, and now by doing this, he has ensured that his leadership has been underlined by all the leaders, all the fractions, all the MLAs, the party rank and file. That is what the message he wanted to send, which I think he has managed to send very clearly, and that is why it looks like that he will accept the decision taken by this particular committee, with a disclaimer that, okay, this is not a final decision. Maybe after a year or so, I will continue. I will step down as the president of NCP, and eventually you will have to elect a new successor in the party. So that is bound to happen in near future.
That is bound to happen is what Sahil says. He says, of course, because he's covered Maharashtra politics for so long, his understanding, of course, is that Sharad Pawar will abide by the decision that the committee has taken. Sahil, thank you so much for joining us. Going back across to Ritvik Bhalekar, who continues to bring us those scenes from outside the NCP office at the moment in Mumbai. We can see those grand celebrations that seem to have begun. Those cadres who were in fact protesting outside the NCP office for the past few days, finally they seem to be relieved that the committee has decided, a committee which was basically formed, Ritvik, to in fact decide on a timeline for an election to fill up the vacancy for the post of president of the NCP. Now that committee has decided, the same committee which Mr. Pawar proposed, that we do not accept your resignation. Big relief for the NCP cadres. Okay, we'll try and go back across to Ritvik. Ritvik, of course, is in the middle of those celebrations that have broken out outside the NCP office in Mumbai after the committee, which was in fact formed to decide on a timeline for the election to the post of president of the NCP after Mr. Pawar's resignation. That committee has now passed a one-sentence resolution. Basically, it's a very short resolution which basically says we reject Mr. Pawar's resignation. We will be requesting him to carry on as president of the party.
थे, ये कहा जा रहा है।
News coming in right now. Bajrang Dal ban war escalates across India. BJP protest turns ugly in Hyderabad. Cops drag BJP workers on the streets. BJP chants Chalisa outside the Congress office. Remember that the BJP has been protesting after the Congress proposed a ban on the Bajrang Dal in its manifesto. If it were to come to power in Karnataka, BJP and Bajrang Dal activists have been protesting. These protests, which of course turned into clashes with the cops. As you can see, these images of the BJP protesting, party workers protesting in Hyderabad and chanting the Hanuman Chalisa, which is when they were dragged away by the police. You can see the sloganeering, which in fact continues as BJP party workers who were protesting the Congress's proposal to ban Bajrang Dal in Karnataka. If it were to come to power, they are being dragged away by the police in Hyderabad. We'll try and get a live report from the ground as to what exactly happened on the ground as this protest was taking place. BJP has been protesting across the country. Abdul Bashir is joining us over the phone line right now from Hyderabad. Abdul, we can see images of those BJP party workers who are being dragged away by the cops from the streets. Tell us what happened.
See, after the Karnataka Congress has announced that it is going to ban Bajrang Dal, the right-wing organization, if it comes to power in Karnataka, after that the Bajrang Dal activists recently had marched in to seize the Congress office in Hyderabad, the state Congress office in Hyderabad yesterday, and today the BJP workers have announced that they are going to chant Hanuman Chalisa right in front of the Congress office, after which the police have beefed up the security, but yet the BJP activists and workers are approaching in huge numbers towards the Congress office to chant Hanuman Chalisa. They are immediately being detained by the police and taken to nearest police station. The demand of the BJP is that the Congress takes back its statement on banning Bajrang Dal. Over to you.
Okay, so that is of course the BJP demanding that the Congress in fact withdraw its proposal to ban the Bajrang Dal as it is promised in its manifesto ahead of the Karnataka Assembly elections. This of course Abdul, is turning out to be a major flashpoint between the Congress and the BJP, because what the BJP has said that this is tantamount to insulting Lord Hanuman when you say that you'll ban the Bajrang Dal. Yeah, Abdul.
Yeah, absolutely. See, after the Congress has announced in its manifesto that it is going to ban Bajrang Dal or organizations unlike the PFI, similarly, the Bajrang Dal had called for a protest day before yesterday. They have condemned this, the move by the Congress in Karnataka, and now BJP has come up with this protest where they are, they have stated that they will chant Hanuman Chalisa in front of the Congress office. However, the police was informed and heavy security had been, beefed up here in front of the Congress office in Hyderabad, in Nampally area, where BJP workers are approaching one by one, chanting Hanuman Chalisa. They are being detained by the police. Now here the demand of the BJP is that the Congress withdraws its, statement, its the move by the Congress in Karnataka that they are going to ban Bajrang Dal, as many of the Hanuman bhakts are hurt with this statement of Congress, the move taken by the Congress for the upcoming Karnataka Assembly elections. Remember, in Telangana there is Assembly elections ahead after Karnataka as well. So the preparation that we see in the Telangana BJP is can be seen here with this move now.
Okay, Abdul, thank you so much for joining us with all of those details. Showdown over the Congress's proposed ban on the Bajrang Dal continues to escalate in Karnataka. A day after Bajrang Dal workers held protests and chanted the Hanuman Chalisa across the poll-bound state in retort to the Congress's manifesto proposal, Congress workers visit Hanuman temples in Bengaluru seeking blessings in a bid to counter the BJP. Now this comes the day after State Congress Chief DK Shivkumar offered prayers at a Hanuman temple, vowing to build more Hanuman temples in the state. Not just him, even Veerappa Moily has now claimed that the Congress never said it would ban the Bajrang Dal, and that further clarification on the Congress's poll promise will soon be told out.
he is playing a trump card that on the religious aspects. I mean, dividing the religion and asking the votes from the people. I mean, this cannot be very acceptable, and people of Karnataka are very smart that they don't just give any importance for all these kinds of issues.
ये कर्नाटक कांग्रेस को क्या करना क्या नहीं करना मालूम हो रहा है, क्योंकि सारे राज्य में राष्ट्रीयवादी पार्टी भारतीय जनता पार्टी है, इसलिए राष्ट्रीयवादी पार्टी को सभी लोग सपोर्ट कर रहा है। ये कांग्रेस वालों को सहन नहीं कर रहा है, इसलिए वो नरेंद्र मोदी जी को बोला विश्व सर्पा, उसका बेटा बोल रहा है प्रियंका खरगे, वो क्या बोलता है उसे नालायक लीडर। अभी कांग्रेस का चुनाव प्रणालिका में बोल रहा है वो बजरंग दल को भी हम बैन करेगा। ये सारे लोग कर्नाटक लोग देख रहा है ये कांग्रेस को कर्नाटक में हराता है, बीजेपी को जिताता है।
The Congress has filed a complaint with the Election Commission against Prime Minister himself because he's invoking religious symbol and it's against the law.
What religious symbol?
That he's saying that आप ये बजरंग बली को याद कीजिए वोट डालने से पहले, आप बजरंग बली के स्लोगन्स चैंट कीजिए।
So बजरंग बली को याद करना आज भारत में क्राइम हो चुका है कांग्रेस के दृष्टिकोण से। Remembering Lord Bajrang Bali is now become a crime in the eyes of the Congress party. People of Karnataka will teach the Congress a lesson on the 10th of May.
Few more things. You have tweeted this morning on the Congress page one ad. In almost every newspaper publication, they have given a rate card of the 40% circle as they call it, and they've called it the trouble engine circle and not the double engine circle. How do you see this?
Nagarjun, appreciation is due. Congress has been honest in the way they have proposed a commission rate card for their government which they think will come in Karnataka. What they have forgotten to mention is that in addition to all the commissions that the common citizens of Karnataka would have to pay in their government, they would also have to pay an additional protection money to be safe from the PFI terrorists that the Congress party will let loose, just like the way they did during Siddharamaya's tenure.
हिंदुस्तान की जनता कांग्रेस का हिंदू विरोधी चेहरा जान चुकी है और ये तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति जो कांग्रेस करती है इसका मुंह तोड़ जवाब भी मिलेगा। दूसरा, बजरंग बली का अपमान नहीं सहेगा हिंदुस्तान, और मोदी जी को मौत का सौदागर कहना, बिच्छू कहना, जहरीला सांप कहना, नाली का कीड़ा कहना और मोदी तेरी कब्र खोदेगी, इस तरह की भाषा का प्रयोग देश के प्रधानमंत्री के खिलाफ जनता ने पहले भी मुंह तोड़ जवाब दिया और वोट की चोट कर्नाटक की जनता भी देगी और कांग्रेस को फिर बाहर ही रखेगी और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की फिर।
अब आप देखो ये कौन सा सेकुलरिज्म है कि कल देश के वजीर आजम प्रधानमंत्री मोदी कह रहे हैं कि जब आप वोट डालेंगे तो बजरंग बली का नारा मार के वोट डालना। आप बोलो ये कौन सा सेकुलरिज्म है? बोलो आप। अगर मैं आज खड़े होकर तकरीर में बोला पूरे कर्नाटका के गरीबों और मजलूमों तुम 10 तारीख को वोट डालने जाएंगे तो पहले अल्लाह अकबर का नारा लगा के बटन दबाओ, तो ये पूरे मीडिया वाले बोलेंगे ओ ओवैसी उधर लेके चले गया, तुम्हारे पप्पा बोले तो कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे।
My colleague Sagai Raj is now joining me live from Bengaluru. So, Sagai, the counter now that the Congress has come up with, where it is organizing pujas, DK Shivkumar is visiting Hanuman temples, does this mean that the Congress is facing some amount of flack on the ground for its proposal to ban the Bajrang Dal if it were to come to power?
Yes, they are facing flack on the ground, but the Congress had anticipated this kind of protest from a right-wing organization. And if you notice that what we learned from the Congress sources is that anyways the Bajrang Dal activists are already campaigning for BJP, and this won't make any kind of difference. But there is a huge hue and cry by BJP workers as well as pro-Hindu activists, VHP activists, RSS activists, everybody joining together and protesting against this particular proposal which has been made by Congress that if they voted back to power, they will ban Bajrang Dal. So we need to wait and watch how far it will have an impact on Congress, because there is already a prediction which has been done by several media organizations stating that Congress might get a majority in the state of Karnataka. Few things, especially the personal attacks on Prime Minister as well as proposing Bajrang Dal ban in the manifesto might be a major drawback for Congress, but still Congress believe that they have edge over BJP in the state.
Okay, Sagai, thank you so much for joining us with those details. Now, with less than a week left for Karnataka Assembly elections, Hanuman politics has peaked in the state. From BJP protesting against the proposed Bajrang Dal ban by the Congress to Congress leaders trying to damage control by visiting Hanuman temples. Here's a ground report from my colleague Nabila Jamal.
Now, the Congress has gone all out to assure the people of Karnataka that they are building several temples. If they come to power, they will be building many Anjaneya temples of such kind. That one that I see here in Mysuru, a stunning Lord Anjaneya standing right on top of that temple here. It is and has huge gathering devotees wanting to pay their respects here. Such kind of temples will be built across the state of Karnataka is what the Congress assures, and also will be forming a committee to monitor the functioning and happenings of the Anjaneya temple, since Karnataka is the birthplace of Hanuman, of Anjaneya. Politicians referring to God, saying you are insulting God, you're always trying to poke at people's emotions.
Don't compare about the gods. What's your power? You show it in a positive way. I just feel that politicians are kind of trying to attack people's sentiment by bringing religion and manipulating and dividing people with different religion. And I feel many people are reacting to it in a very bad way, and I guess it should stop.
Nobody has that authority of, choosing one god over the other, right? And demeaning one god over the other. I think it speaks a lot about the politician who's actually looking down on other god or other religion.
Now we have just a few days to go for Karnataka elections, and all the top netas are seen busy rushing to all the famous temples in Karnataka and seeking blessings. Of course, they want to be viewed as religious netas who are rooted and respect the culture of the state. We saw many netas seeking their blessings. Now, how will this really turn into favor for them? This Karnataka's elections will be telling.
So we're slipping into a very short break now. Coming up next, Jaishankar talks tough on terror at the SCO meet in the presence of Bhutto. Says nothing can justify cross-border terror. No handshakes with Pakistan Foreign Minister as he arrives at the SCO.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mo. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Amidst Karnataka's poisonous snake politics, we set out to find the king.
Welcome to Agumbe, the land of the king.
In search of India's national reptile. Mission King Cobra in Karnataka's mountains. A heart-stopping encounter with reptile royalty. The return of the king.
It's day 2 of the SCO meet that is happening in Goa. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar welcomed Chinese Foreign Minister King Gogh and his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov, and others have flown down for this crucial meeting as well. Jaishankar welcomed Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari as well, but it was evidently cold with him. While Jaishankar had light moments and some chit-chat with the other counterparts, he didn't do any handshake with Bilawal Bhutto. They stood together very briefly for a photo op, and then Jaishankar showed him the way into the venue. Now, this comes after India made it clear that it is difficult to engage with a neighbor that sponsors cross-border terrorism. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar also, in his address to the SCO Foreign Ministers meet, said that combating terrorism is one of the mandates of the SCO. He reiterated that cross-border terrorism and terror funding must stop.
While the world was engaged in facing COVID and its consequences, the menace of terrorism continues unabated. Taking our eyes off this menace would be detrimental to our security interests. We firmly believe that there can be no justification for terrorism, and it must be stopped in all its forms and manifestations, including cross-border terrorism. The channel of finances for terrorist activities must be seized and blocked without distinction. Members need not be reminded that combating terrorism is one of the original mandates of the SCO.
I think what Dr. Jaishankar said in his speech is exactly what should have been highlighted, because the primary purpose of SCO came into existence after the 9/11 attack. The primary focus was security. And then, of course, SCO has expanded into a whole lot of other fields. But I think what India is trying to do is bring the focus back on the original platform on which SCO was formed, which was to combat terrorism, which was to enhance security in the region. And if Dr. Jaishankar is pointing all these things out, then I think he's sticking to the charter of the SCO. And he is exhorting all the SCO member states to refocus on the primary purpose for of this organization. Everything else will follow, but you cannot dilute the issue of security, of terrorism, and of course the new challenges which are emerging in this particular field.
My colleagues Geeta Mohan and Gaurav Sawant are joining me live at the moment. Geeta is at the venue of that SEO foreign ministers meet. Geeta, of course, the big takeaway this morning from that photo op and subsequently the opening remarks by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar were that he was sending out a very strong message to Pakistan.
Well, absolutely. Did not name Pakistan, but the statement is very clear. He spoke about cross-border terrorism, Polemy, and there is no mincing of words or assumptions and presumptions when it comes to cross-border terrorism and what India means by it. While SEO Charter says that issues with regards to bilateral concerns should not be raised in the SEO forum, cross-border terrorism and the menace of terrorism is something that concerns one and all. And in that context, Dr. Jaishankar raised the issue of terrorism, but also put forth the concerns with regards to cross-border terrorism. So yes, slammed Pakistan for terrorism without naming it. But yes, we also have the statement by Bilawal Bhutto Zardari made at the SEO, and he also responded to India by talking about how political brownie points should not be scored by weaponizing the issue of terrorism. Again, that was a veiled attack on India. And without naming India or Kashmir, spoke about how countries should adhere to United Nations Security Council resolutions. So a tit for tat, a spat, fireworks, whatever you call it, Polemy. We discussed it yesterday. I told you that today it's going to be very, very different. The India-Pakistan presence in any room ends up with some fireworks. So this was the fireworks that we were expecting yesterday, that we saw today. Both sides put forth their views without naming any country and without making it a bilateral issue.
Okay, Geeta, stay on with us. Gaurav Sawant also joins us at the moment. Gaurav, Geeta was of course reporting about the remarks that Bilawal Bhutto Zardari also made at that meeting, saying that political brownie points should not be scored. But this is not about scoring political brownie points. This is about India being a victim of cross-border terrorism.
So India is the biggest victim of Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror. But be that as it may, India isn't the only victim, and that is why cross-border terrorism remains extremely crucial, and it's raised at a multilateral forum. India has repeatedly told the world, don't worry about us, we'll deal with Pakistan effectively, and Balakot showed the way. But when it comes to other countries, remember, Pakistan is notorious for spreading terror in Afghanistan. Even the Taliban, sponsored by Pakistan, has called out Pakistan for spreading terror. But that AFPAC region, China is very concerned about the East Turkestan Islamic movement that China considers terrorists. They operate out of that same region, and China is very worried that its border with Xinjiang, with this AFPAC region, especially the Afghanistan portion, could lead to a major crisis for China. But that's one point. Point two, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari in Pakistan is known as the intern foreign minister. He's supposed to be interning under his own Minister of State, Hina Rabbani Khar. And why? Because he's factually inaccurate when he talks about adhering to the United Nations Security Council resolution. Incidentally, Pakistan is not adhering to that UN Security, the United Nations resolution on Jammu and Kashmir, because the first point in that resolution is Pakistan is to vacate Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The saddest aspect is for 70 years, nobody's actually read that to Pakistan, that they are supposed to vacate Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, including Gilgit and Baltistan. The Indian army is supposed to go and establish security, and only then, when the environment is safe, can there be a plebiscite. This is very basic. Unfortunately, neither Pakistan nor a Pakistan-sponsored ecosystem has read out the real resolution to Pakistanis. They would never seek one.
Geeta, coming back across to you, of course, the frostiness that was there for everyone to see at that photo of that took place when S. Jaishankar, of course, was welcoming his guests and foreign ministers of the member states for the SCO meeting. When can there be, because you follow diplomacy, when can there be a thaw in relations? If you could just put that into perspective for our viewers.
Well, for India, it all began, the dipping of ties began with the Mumbai 2008 Mumbai terror attacks. And since then, we've seen no incremental gains when it comes to ties with Pakistan. And therefore, the real challenge for Pakistan will be to challenge the establishment and ensure prosecution and conviction of Hafiz Saeed. Now, we do know that now when we mention Hafiz Saeed, Masood Azhar, and the other terrorists, Lakhvi and so on and so forth, Pakistan's response is always, are they roaming around freely? Are they in the streets of Pakistan? No, they're in jail. But nobody is asking Pakistan, what is it that they're in jail for? If you look at the things that they've done, they've gone for the smallest of crimes, a small case of terror financing. The prosecution and conviction is not for 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. It's not for all the major terror attacks that Lashkar-e-Taiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed have conducted within Indian territory. It is very, very, it's cosmetic. It's to show the world that they're acting against terror. It was to show the world that they have acted to get off the grey list, the FATF grey list. And that's what happened. But at the end of the day, India would want real action on the ground. And unless and until that happens, unless and until the terror factories are shut down in Pakistan, and we see some real conviction of these terrorists for the crimes they committed against India, I don't see a forward movement or any momentum on the positive front when it comes to India-Pakistan ties. Follow me also at a time when there is zero tolerance within India for any sort of engagement with Pakistan if Pakistan is not going to give up on or act on terrorism and these terrorist networks. It's going to be an election year soon. It will be untenable, unjustifiable, inexplicable for this dispensation to really tell the public and the people as to why they were shaking hands, why they were hugging, why the meetings were taking place, why is there a resumption. So I don't see a resumption, at least not till 2024, or for that matter, if they want it before, not till we see some real conviction on the ground in Pakistan.
Right. Gaurav, coming back across to you, India, of course, has been reiterating this, and Dr. S. Jaishankar has been on various multilateral fora, global forum. He has been constantly exposing Pakistan. He, of course, again mentioned the channel of funds, which he says needs to be blocked, needs to be seized, which is, of course, directed towards terror activities. How much success have we had in terms of getting that message across out to the world that this needs to be stopped and start somewhere? The funds need to be stopped, for instance.
So there is no desire on the part of Pakistan to crack down on terror. As Geeta very rightly pointed out, Hafiz Saeed may have been convicted for some sham charges, but not for 26/11. But where Pakistani diplomats lie through their teeth, and unfortunately they are not called out enough, is the fact that when they say that Hafiz Saeed is not roaming around freely, that's a white lie. Hafiz Saeed is roaming around freely. Just last couple of weeks, he was converting Hindus to Islam in Sindh. This is incidentally exactly where Bilawal Bhutto Zardari comes from. So Hafiz Saeed is not in jail. That Maulana of terror, Masood Azhar, he's not in jail. Pakistan has not even jailed them. Well, they may have been jailed symbolically, that their homes were converted into jail. A jail would be where a convict is sent behind bars, maybe like Kot Lakpat jail or Adiala jail. But in Pakistan, these terrorists actually end up fathering children while they are in jail. They also enjoy conjugal rights, and DGISI goes and meets them in jail. So that is exactly why Pakistan's action on terror is a sham. That's point one. Point two, Dr. Jaishankar has repeatedly raised raising of funds by these terrorist organizations, because even as late as last week, there are reports from inside Pakistan that both Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba were raising funds in the name of floods in Pakistan. So these terrorist organizations, even now, despite Pakistan having been twice on the FATF grey list, and of course getting out of it because of political compulsions of various nations, Pakistan continues to ensure that these terrorist organizations continue to function because they use them as a strategic asset against India, and yet some want to mount pressure on India to engage with Pakistan. And from whatever we've seen from Dr. Jaishankar's body language or the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval or Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that clearly is not happening till the time Pakistan takes real action on terror.
Right. Gaurav Sawant and Geeta Mohan, thank you so much for joining us with your perspective and analysis of what's happening at the SCO meet. Shifting focus now, the situation continues to remain tense in Manipur. Manipur governor has appealed for peace to be maintained in the state. The army and Assam Rifles continue to stage flag marches in sensitive areas. Internet services remain suspended. Also, Section 144 is in place to prevent any disturbance of peace and public order. Many shops and houses were vandalized and gutted in arson, forcing affected families to flee to Assam. Himanta government, in fact, has pledged full support to those who've reached Assam. The Manipur government has also issued shoot-at-sight orders to contain spiralling violence in the state. As the violence rages on, Amit Shah has cancelled all his Karnataka campaign. For the moment, the Home Minister is constantly monitoring the situation in Manipur. Reacting to the violence, Congress alleged that the BJP has created fissures among communities with its politics of hate and now has imposed a draconian law to shoot its own people.
प्रदेश में कल एवं आज की हिंसक घटनाओं से मुझे बहुत दुख हुआ है और दुखी हूं। सभी मणिपुर प्रदेशवासियों को से आग्रह करती हूं कि वे अपनी परंपरा के अनुरूप शांति, स्नेह, भाईचारा एवं सद्भाव बनाए रखें। किसी भी प्रकार की हिंसा, आगजनी में भाग न ले। साथ ही मैं हिंसा में मारे गए वो सभी मणिपुर वासियों को अपनी श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करती हूं।
Properties are being burnt. Arson, loot and murder is happening openly. Communal clashes are galore. Violence is unabated. Law and order machinery has ceased to exist. And what is the order issued by Modi government? That the governor is pleased to authorize shoot-at-sight orders. And where are India's Prime Minister and Home Minister? They are busy electioneering in Karnataka. They do not care if Manipur or rest of India burns. For Mr. Modi, only vote matters.
A shoot-at-sight order has been issued as violence broke out in Manipur between Imphal Valley-based Maitis and the hill-based Kukis. There is anger over the demand for ST status for non-tribals. Our next report tells you more.
Homes set on fire. Shops vandalized. Armed mobs went on a rampage. The northeast jeweled land, Manipur, is rocked by violence. The unrest broke out during a protest march on Wednesday. Thousands of tribal people opposed the demand by the state's Meitei community for the scheduled tribe status. The protesters feared such a categorization for the Meiteis will cut into the share of benefits reserved for tribal communities. Curfews imposed, mobile internet services suspended, and the army carried out flag marches in violence-hit areas. Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh appealed for calm as he blamed the violence on misunderstanding between communities.
These accidents are a result of prevailing misunderstanding between two sections of our society. The state government is seized of the developments and taking all steps to control the law and order situation. In this hour, I appeal to one and all to maintain peace and harmony in your respective areas.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah spoke to the Manipur Chief Minister and promised full central assistance to restore peace in the northeastern state. Security forces, meanwhile, evacuated thousands of people caught in the violence. Of Manipur's 16 districts, the Meitei Hindu community dominates 5. The hill districts dominated mostly by Christian, Naga and Kuki tribes. On April 20th, the Manipur High Court directed the state government to consider within 4 weeks the request of the Meitei community to be included in the scheduled tribes list. Violence spiraled during the protest march by the Kukis against any move to categorize the Meiteis as a scheduled tribe on Wednesday. On Thursday, the state governor issued an order to shoot protesters in extreme cases where warnings and reasonable force do not work. Bureau Report, India Today.
Politics escalates over lavish refurbishments of Delhi Chief Minister's residence. The BJP continues its indefinite agitation against the 45 crore rupees allegedly spent on Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal's house renovation. The BJP has also released new posters portraying Kejriwal as Sultan and dubbing his residence as Raj Mahal. Releasing the first images of the Kejriwal house, the BJP alleged that Delhi Chief Minister's official residence interior decoration includes artistic work, decorative pillars, curtains worth 8 lakh rupees. Also flooring with imported white Dior pearl marble imported from Vietnam that has cost 1.5 crore rupees. Raising questions over the 45 crore renovation, Union Minister Anurag Thakur launched a scathing attack on Arvind Kejriwal, alleging him of giving opportunity to his ministers and MLAs to loot during COVID when people didn't get hospital beds.
The Delhi BJP is doing everything possible to attack the Aam Aadmi Party and Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal over the expenditure on Arvind Kejriwal's 6 Flagstaff mark. So there's a dharna going on near the CM's residence, which is an indefinite dharna by the BJP, and there's a poster war going on as well by the BJP. Every day new posters are being released by the BJP attacking the Aam Aadmi Party and Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. BJP is upping the ante against Arvind Kejriwal and is saying that this dharna will continue, and this dharna has reached the 5th day at near the CM's residence.
शायद ऐसे ही लोगों के लिए वह पंक्ति लिखी गई है कि विद्युत की इस चकाचौंध में देख दीप की लौ रोती है, अरे हृदय को थाम महल के लिए झोपड़ी बली होती है। कि यहां पर विषय सिर्फ आरोप लगाने का नहीं है, विषय सिर्फ उनका असली चेहरा दिखाने का नहीं है, विषय सिर्फ कटाक्ष का नहीं है, विषय उस दर्द का भी है, उस धोखे का भी है जो दिल्ली की जनता ने अनुभव किया है। क्योंकि दिल्ली की जनता ने एक विश्वास किया था उन बातों के ऊपर।
My colleague Milan Sharma is now joining us live from outside Arvind Kejriwal's residence. Milan, bring us a ground report. We believe that the BJP is on an indefinite agitation against the 45 crore rupees that Arvind Kejriwal has allegedly spent refurbishing his official residence.
Well, that's right, Pauline. We are at the spot where the indefinite agitation is taking place. However, this is a cordoned area near Arvind Kejriwal's residence. Of course, the Delhi Chief Minister's security being kept in mind. This protest is happening a few meters or kilometers away from his official residence, that is under the scanner. And the new posters that have now been put up, Pauline, are Raj Mahal, the movie produced by Arvind Kejriwal. And what the BJP is insinuating is that he is a sultan that has not given access to the common man to his home, which is now under the scanner for the alleged money that's being spent, about 45 crore rupees for a renovation, the imported marbles, the curtains, the furnishing, the consultancy that was hired also to furnish his home. And what the BJP has been demanding through these protests, Pauline, is that Kejriwal step down as Delhi Chief Minister. We have Shazia Ilmi and other top members of the BJP. We're also expecting Meenakshi Lekhi to come here. Just a while ago, Shehzad Poonawala was also here. But of course, BJP on the offensive against Arvind Kejriwal. Meanwhile, the Aam Aadmi Party does not really talk or refuses to respond to these allegations. And the LG has also taken cognizance of the matter and has asked for a report on these renovations on Delhi CM's Flagstaff home.
Okay. Milan, thank you so much for bringing us that live update from the BJP agitation outside Arvind Kejriwal's residence. That's a wrap on this bulletin. For all the latest news and updates, you can log on to indiatoday.in. You can also download the India Today app. Thanks for watching.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 36 and minimum 23 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 30 and minimum 27 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 38 and minimum 24 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 28 and minimum 21 degrees. Chennai, maximum 32 and minimum 27 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 30 and minimum 24 degrees.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
If it's fashion, you can expect the Kardashian-Jenner sisters dropping some major style bombs on the red carpet. And Met Gala 2023 was all that and more. Kim Kardashian fit rightly into her Schiaparelli all-pearl outfit with a huge cape. When we say pearl, she was dripping in it. Kim Kardashian paired her look with a choker neckpiece, dainty rings, and a matching pair of heels. Now, if you jog your memory, Kim Kardashian's Marilyn Monroe cosplay at Met Gala 2022 was the talk of fashion circles last year. The television personality was trolled for ruining an iconic outfit which the late American sensation had worn for President Kennedy's birthday. Netizens went all berserk and commented how Kim's body type was not fit for that outfit, even though she had lost certain kilos for that 10 minutes walk on the red carpet. However, this time the outfit was meant for her. Prior to her appearance at the fashion's biggest night, Kardashian had even dropped in at Karl Lagerfeld's office to get inspired for her outfit. She even posed along with Karl's cat. And for the unversed, the designer who brought revolution with his vision in the world of fashion, and Met Gala 2023 paid tribute to his legacy.
A very good afternoon. You're watching India Today. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, getting you a roundup of all the top stories. Let's begin with the latest headlines that we're tracking in this edition of Lunch Break. Bajrang Dal ban war escalates across India. BJP protest turns ugly outside Congress office in Hyderabad. Cops drag BJP workers. Pawar resignation rejected by NCP committee. NCP leaders request Pawar to reconsider his decision. Jaishankar talks tough on terror at the SCO meet in the presence of Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto. Says nothing can justify cross-border terror. No handshakes with the Pakistan Foreign Minister as he arrives for the SCO meet.
The channel of finances for terrorist activities must be seized and blocked without distinction. Members need not be reminded that combating terrorism is one of the original mandates of the SCO.
Manipur governor appeals for peace after issuing shoot-at-sight orders. Communities riot over reservation demands. US President Biden congratulates Ajay Banga on becoming World Bank president. Says we'll address global challenges together.
Co-presented by Star Health Insurance, the health insurance specialist. Powered by Jaguar. Discover the magic of smart lights.
And let's begin with an India Today exclusive news break from Karnataka. Smriti Irani has lashed out at the Congress over the Bajrang Dal ban promise. Speaking to India Today, Smriti Irani has reiterated the BJP stand that there is no comparison between the Bajrang Dal and terror outfit PFI. Smriti has also questioned the Congress, asking if the Grand Old Party believes that Hindus are terrorists. Let's play out for you that exclusive conversation with Union Minister Smriti Irani.
कांग्रेस कही कह रही है कि हमने अपने मैनिफेस्टो में बजरंग दल बैन करने की बात कही थी पीएफआई के साथ, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो है इसमें बजरंग बली ले आई।
पीएफआई एक ऐसा संगठन है जो राष्ट्र विरोधी है। पीएफआई एक ऐसा संगठन है जिसने आतंक के माध्यम से इस राष्ट्र को तोड़ने की न सिर्फ कल्पना रखी, बल्कि अपने उस मंसूबे को फलीभूत करने के लिए ऐसे जिहादी तत्वों को रिक्रूट किया। क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी को लगता है कि जो लोग और जो संगठन हिंदू धर्म में आस्था रखते हैं उनकी तुलना आतंकियों से होनी चाहिए?
लेकिन वो ये कह रहे हैं कि हमने तो बजरंग दल की बात की। आप
कहती हूँ, क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी की यह मान्यता है कि जो आतंकी गिरोह हैं उनकी समानता हिंदू धर्म में विश्वास करने वाले हिंदुओं से होनी चाहिए? क्या कांग्रेस को लगता है कि हिंदू आतंकी है?
एक सवाल वो ये भी कह रहे हैं, खासकर रणदीप सुरजेवाला, वो कह रहे हैं कि हनुमान की बात करते हैं लेकिन उनको हनुमान चालीसा तक नहीं
है। सुरजेवाला जी जो सबको चालीसा सिखाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, उनसे मेरा आग्रह है कि उनके ट्वीट में हनुमान जी की उन्होंने जो स्पेलिंग लिखी है पहले वो सीख के दुरुस्त कर लें।
एक सवाल ये है कि डीके शिव कुमार प्रदेश कांग्रेस के अध्यक्ष हैं, अब वो ये कह रहे हैं कि वो हनुमान की मूर्तियां बनाएंगे, मंदिर बनाएंगे हर जगह पे।
ऐसा है, वो सत्ता में तो आने वाले नहीं हैं, लेकिन पहले उन्हें ये शब्द कहने से पहले श्रीमती वाड्रा से पहले परमिशन लेनी चाहिए, क्योंकि गांधी खानदान और विशेष श्रीमती वाड्रा अमेठी लोकसभा चुनाव में जब पधारे थे तब उन्होंने सड़क पर नमाज अता की थी। अब हम सब जानते हैं कि जो इस्लाम धर्म में मानते हैं वो मूर्ति पूजक नहीं हो सकते, मंदिरों का निर्माण नहीं करा सकते। तो पहले वो वाड्रा खानदान से, गांधी खानदान से अनुमति ले दें, फिर इस प्रकार की कोई ना कोई घोषणा करें, ये मेरा उनसे आग्रह है। लेकिन पुनः बड़ी विनम्रता से कहना चाहती हूँ कि वो मुख्यमंत्री नहीं बनने वाले, ना उनकी सरकार आने वाली है।
And the showdown over Congress's proposed ban on the Bajrang Dal in Karnataka continues to snowball. BJP workers held a massive protest in several parts of the country, including in Hyderabad, where they were seen staging a protest outside the Congress office. BJP workers who'd gathered in large numbers chanted Hanuman Chalisa before being detained by the police. In a bid to counter the BJP, Congress workers have also started their own version of this protest, visiting Hanuman temples in Bengaluru and seeking the blessings of the Lord. This comes a day after State Congress Chief D.K. Shivkumar offered prayers at a Hanuman temple, vowing to build more Anjaneya temples in the state. Congress MLA Veerappa Moily has claimed that the Congress never said it would ban the Bajrang Dal and that further clarification on the Congress's bold promise will soon be doled out.
The Congress has filed a complaint with the Election Commission against Prime Minister himself because he's invoking religious symbol and it's against the law.
What religious symbol?
That he's saying that आप ये बजरंग बली को याद कीजिए वोट डालने से पहले आप बजरंग बली के स्लोगन्स चैंट कीजिए.
So बजरंग बली को याद करना आज भारत में क्राइम हो चुका है कांग्रेस के दृष्टिकोण से. Remembering Lord Bajrang Bali is now become a crime in the eyes of the Congress party. People of Karnataka will teach the Congress a lesson on the 10th of May.
Few more things. You have tweeted this morning on the Congress page one ad. In almost every newspaper publication, they have given a rate card of the 40% circle, as they call it, and they've called it the trouble engine circle and not the double engine circle. How do you see this?
Nagarjun, appreciation is due. Congress has been honest in the way they have proposed a commission rate card for their government which they think will come in Karnataka. What they have forgotten to mention is that in addition to all the commissions that the common citizens of Karnataka would have to pay in their government, they would also have to pay an additional protection money to be safe from the PFI terrorists that the Congress party will let loose, just like the way they did during Siddaramaya's tenure.
ये कर्नाटक कांग्रेस को क्या करना क्या नहीं करना मालूम हो रहा है, क्योंकि सारे राज्य में राष्ट्रीयवादी पार्टी भारतीय जनता पार्टी है, इसलिए राष्ट्रीयवादी पार्टी को सभी लोग सपोर्ट कर रहा है. ये कांग्रेस वालों को सहन नहीं कर रहा है, इसलिए वो नरेंद्र मोदी जी को बोला विश्व सर्पा, उसका बेटा बोल रहा है प्रियंका खरगे, वो क्या बोलता है उसे नालायक लीडर. अभी कांग्रेस का चुनाव प्रणालिका में बोल रहा है वो बजरंग दल को भी हम बैन करेगा. ये सारे लोग कर्नाटक लोग देख रहा है ये कांग्रेस को कर्नाटक में हराता है, बीजेपी को जिताता है.
Sir, is there a feeling amongst Congress leaders that possibly the promise that they made with respect to Bajrang Dal was, an unnecessary ammunition that they had given to the BJP?
No, not at all. Not at all. That's something which those who understand very clearly. In fact, people who the devotees of Hanumanji are very hurt with the way the BJP has responded to this.
Did the Congress somewhere miscalculate the whole Bajrang Dal ban promise? Because it has given the much needed ammunition to the BJP.
No ammunition, it's only hype. People are worried about their lives, their livelihoods and all that. And this is just BJP because they have nothing else to talk about now. They're trying to use this, like how they try to use hijab, halal, Savarkar and Tippu. And then after that, some statement made by Khargeji. All that because they have their government is completely. People have lost total faith in that government. So now, because they have nothing else to do, they are trying to catch hold of this and trying to whip up passion in the name of Lord Hanuman, which I think people are actually now are feeling disgusted by their behavior. Because you talk about Bajrang Dal as Bajrang Dal, that is a different issue. Why you want to bring Lord Hanuman into this? Why you want to sing Hanuman Chalisa? What is that connection? So these people are getting disgusted. So in fact, it is going to be helping us. The way they are behaving is helping us.
But the Congress leaders, for example, D.K. Shivkumar says if Congress is voted to power, they'll build Anjaneya temples in the state. Veerappa Moily's statements, and now Jagdish Shettar saying that the state has no power to ban Bajrang Dal, is only the central government.
See,
is there somewhere?
It's not a power to ban. We can definitely recommend. Whether it is PFI, Bajrang Dal, any outfits, no state has got the power to ban. Mr. Jagdish Shettar is correct. But definitely a state report will be needed. And we will also look into the whole aspect of the activities and send a report.
अब आप देखो ये कौन सा सेकुलरिज्म है कि कल देश के वजीर आजम प्रधानमंत्री मोदी कह रहे कि जब आप वोट डालेंगे तो बजरंग बली का नारा मार के वोट डालना। आप बोलो ये कौन सा सेकुलरिज्म है? बोलो आप। अगर मैं आज खड़े होकर तकरीर में बोला पूरे कर्नाटका के गरीबों और मजलूमों तुम 10 तारीख को वोट डालने जाएंगे तो पहले अल्लाह अकबर का नारा लगा के बटन दबाओ, तो ये पूरे मीडिया वाले बोलेंगे ओ ओवैसी उधर लेके चले गया। तुम्हारे पप्पा बोले तो कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे।
Let's take this across to Sagaraj, who's joining us live from Bengaluru with more details on the story and how really the politics has escalated right now. Sagai, in view of the BJP going all out on this issue, is there an attempted climb down by the Congress on this, on the claim that they will ban Bajrang Dal and now this politics over Bajrang Bali?
The Congress is trying their level best. In fact, KPCC President D.K. Shivakumar yesterday has promised the people, saying that if they are voted back to power, they will try to construct Hanuman temple across the state of Karnataka. This clearly shows that Congress is on a back foot after the promise which has been mentioned of banning Bajrang Dal in their manifesto. But how far the voters are worried? Yesterday when we spoke to a few voters, they said that they're not worried about that. Their main issues are totally different from banning Bajrang Dal. But in the places like coastal Karnataka and northern Karnataka, there is an impact of this particular banning on Bajrang Dal. But Congress is trying to do a damage control on this. But Congress has anticipated that there might be some kind of repercussion from this particular organization, but they have never thought that this will go to this extent, that there might be protest where BJP might term this as an attack on Hindus.
All right, Sagai, thanks for getting us those details. Breaking news that's coming in right now from Rajouri, where unfortunately 2 of our Jawans have died, 4 others have been injured in an encounter. Internet has now been suspended in Rajouri as a result of this. There's an ongoing operation at this point to ensure that the terrorists can be neutralized. Internet has been snapped as a result of that till the operation ends. But unfortunately, the news that's coming in right now is that we've lost 2 of our Jawans in that encounter. Sunilji Bhatt is joining us with more details on this. Sunilji, what more are you picking up really on the situation currently in Rajouri?
Well, Akshita, as we all know that after that dastardly terror attack in Punch on an army vehicle, there was a massive search operation that was launched in twin border districts of Rajouri and Punch. And today, the security forces were successful in establishing contact with the terrorists in the forest belt of Rajouri district. But unfortunately, we have lost 2 of our Jawans. 2 army Jawans have been martyred in this encounter that is going on in the forest belt of Rajouri district. 4 other Jawans are injured and the operation is on. And as per the army statement, there are casualties, on part of the terrorists also. So many terrorists have been killed also, but their bodies are yet to be recovered. But the information that is coming in from Rajouri is that 2 army Jawans have been martyred while 4 others have been injured. Some terrorists could have also been killed in this encounter, but it remains to be confirmed because their bodies have not been recovered yet. Akshita, back to you.
Okay, so that's the news that's coming in right now. We are going to be tracking the latest on this encounter that's currently underway. Our forces are out there, large numbers, trying to neutralize terrorists. 2 Jawans have died in this encounter. Several others also, we hear, have been injured. How long has this operation been going on, Sunilji? We hear internet now has also been snapped as a precautionary measure.
Yes, Akshita, that's what the reports are, that internet has been snapped in many parts of Rajouri district, particularly in that forest area where this encounter is taking place. So we will have to wait before more information comes in. But this is the latest update that is that has just come from the army that 2 army jawans have been martyred while 4 others have been injured. And the injured have been rushed to their command hospital in Udhampur district of Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay, so there's a statement that's just been put out by the army, which I'll just read out for our viewers, which gives us more details of exactly what's happened. A group of terrorists involved in ambush on an army truck in the Totagali area of Bhataduria in Jammu region is who's been cornered right now. Indian Army columns have been conducting relentless intel-based operations to flush out this group. On specific information about the presence of these terrorists in Rajouri, a joint operation was launched on 3rd May. 2 days ago. A search team established contact with a group of terrorists well entrenched in a cave. The area is thickly vegetated with rocky and steep cliffs. The terrorists triggered an explosive device in retaliation. As a result, the army team has suffered 2 fatal casualties with injuries to 4 more soldiers, including an officer. Additional teams from the vicinity have been directed to the site of the encounter. A group of terrorists are trapped in the area. There's a likelihood of casualties in the terror groups as well. The operation is in progress. So that's the statement that's been put out right now by the army. Details coming in that there are in fact 4 soldiers, including an officer, who've been injured, besides 2 army men who've tragically died in this operation. The terrorists have triggered an explosive device. Sunilji, more information coming in that this is a group of terrorists who are hiding there. Obviously, at this point, the terrain is extremely tricky. The army also confirming that the terrorists seem to be hiding in some sort of a cave.
We have been saying, that this, this area where this encounter is taking place, it's a very difficult area. Terrain is a huge challenge. And that is why it has taken so many days for the security forces to establish contact with the terrorists. Today they were able to do that, but unfortunately we have lost 2 of our army jawans, 4 others are injured. But the operation is on, reinforcements are being sent to that particular area because, the area is surrounded by dense forest. There are caves there, there are natural hideouts there. So terrorists are hiding there and they have got huge consignment of weapons from Pakistan. So those weapons and ammunition is being used by terrorists to carry out these attacks. But a fierce encounter is on, operation is in progress. Akshita.
Okay, so the operation is currently underway. And let me just once again get you some of the highlights of what the army's put out in their statement. They have said that this is a group of terrorists that they've been hunting for the last 2 days. Is this the same group that was involved, Sunilji, according to the army at least, in the attack on our jawans a few weeks ago?
Yeah, Akshita, that's what, it's being speculated that this is the same group of terrorists who carried out that gruesome terror attack on an army vehicle in Punch last month. So since then, there has been a massive search operation that has been going on in the twin border districts of Rajouri and Punch. And the security forces picked up many suspects also in the last fortnight. Many were questioned, and one of the locals, had admitted to his role. He had said that he had given shelter to those terrorists. So based on the investigation that was carried out, the army, the CRPF and the Jammu and Kashmir police were carrying out this search operation. And today they succeeded in, establishing contact with the terrorists. That's why an encounter broke out. But unfortunately, in this encounter, we have lost 2 of our brave hearts. 4 others are injured. They have been rushed to the command hospital in Udhampur. Reinforcements are being sent to the spot, and the operation is in progress. Internet services have been snapped in many parts of Rajouri district, so we will have to wait for some more time before some more information is revealed by the army. Akshita.
All right. Thanks very much, Sunilji, for getting us all of those details. We'll track the latest on this. Unfortunately, 2 of our jawans have been killed in this ongoing operation. A group of terrorists who've been at this point cornered in the forests of Rajouri. The showdown over the Kerala story continues. The film is released today to shows being cancelled, to protests breaking out in some parts of Kerala, and now relief that's coming for the makers on the day of the release as the Kerala High Court has refused to stay the screening of the film. The court observed that the trailer doesn't contain anything offensive against a particular community as a whole. The court and the judges watched both the teaser and the trailer of the movie in an open court and then said that if the censor board has examined the movie and found it suitable for publication, we will not stop this movie from releasing. So relief for the makers, even as we're seeing multiple reports coming in of protests of the screenings being blocked. Shibi Mold is joining us with more details on this. Shibi, can you tell us really what played out in the Kerala High Court and parallelly how several screenings right now in Kochi and other parts of Kerala are being stopped?
Akshita, like you mentioned, it's a big relief for the makers as the Kerala High Court has refused to stay the screening of the film. As we know, the petitioners had approached the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court had directed that directed the petitioners to approach the High Court. So around 5 petitions were considered by the Kerala High Court today morning, where the High Court felt that this is a pure work of fiction and there's something called freedom of expression and speech, and that cannot be